Vuguvugu Dendele. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. Coming up on the show, our Zambian correspondent Namuchana Likezo spoke with the award-winning sports journalist and activist Wezi Mazunda on our topic of the day. We've witnessed dramatic scenes at the final of the 35th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco between the Lions of Teranga from West Africa and the host nation, the Atlas Lions of Morocco. The Senegalese protested against a penalty awarded to Morocco after the referee viewed VAR, that is video assistant referee. This happened shortly after Senegal's goal was disallowed, yet in this scenario the VAR team was silent, and this led to the visitors walking away from the pitch and later returned after the hero Sadio Mane encouraged his team to honor the ref's decision. Senegal keeper saved the penalty, and eventually the West Africans scored during extra time to be crowned champions of the Africa Cup of Nations 35th edition. The question we are asking is, what does such dramatic scenes say about African football, and what can the CAF do, the mother body of the game, to restore dignity and FIFA fair play in continental football? Wezi Mazunda.
It's just a way football is. You've been running, you've been active, and then suddenly the play has to stop. So in this case, that game had more like ended. It was towards the end of the game. So in the mind, you're telling yourself this game has ended. Let the game continue. Let the game continue. That's what professionalism demands. But the reason why this happened, in my view, is because of issues that people have, pending issues that are not dealt with, and these are the reactions that come. Then what's the end result? It's embarrassing. The world is watching. Everybody's watching football. Young footballers are watching football. These are the future of tomorrow. Next time they're going to say, oh, okay, so if we're not happy with the decision, we'll protest on the pitch, which is not good, because this is something that you've already planned. West comes to the West, we're going to protest. So it's wrong. So what CAF should do to restore dignity, like I have said, go to the member association, sit down with them. When they have these council meetings, talk about these issues, put it on the agenda, talk about it, let people come out and say, no, we do not like this. Listen to them. If it's an issue that you feel you can change, or it's something that you can address it there and then. Let it not get trickled down back. It reaches the pitch, and then the players start doing those protests. That is not nice. I think that is the most important thing. Engage the press more. If you hear people are talking, get the right information out there of what is happening. Referees, engage them, bring them, CAF, bring those people from the referees department, because that's where a lot of noise has been coming from. Let them meet the press and then give them what they really need to hear, the issues, how the issues are handled from both sides. Let's not just leave things hanging, because this is what happens on the pitch.
South African under-19 bowler JJ Basson has urged his teammates to keep their spirits high at the ICC Under-19 Men's World Cup held in Southern Africa, in Zimbabwe and Namibia, despite their second defeat of the tournament against the West Indies yesterday. The loss saw them finish in third position in Group D, behind Afghanistan and the Windies, but came with something to celebrate as he recorded 5 for 4 with the ball. He explained how he went about his business in that 5 for 23 performance.
So we started off quite nicely, striking in the power play, which is a big thing for us as a team. I felt that we really kept the pressure going, and I felt that myself coming back into attack from our captain making that decision, big thing for me was to continue breaking the partnerships, and I felt that I executed quite nicely, grabbing 3 very important wickets in the middle period, and then coming back to the death was just trying to contain them and dotting up as much as possible.
Raja Casablanca assistant coach Darian Wilken has opened up about his decision to follow Fadlu Davids back to North Africa for a second stint with the Green Eagles. The pair have worked closely together since their time at Orlando Pirates in 2019, going on to spells at Maritzburg United and Simba Sports Club in Tanzania, before reuniting once again in Morocco. Speaking to SABC Sport, Wilken explained what drew them back to the Botola Pro League outfit and why a return to Raja Casablanca felt inevitable.
We've been fortunate in our career decisions, the coach and I and myself. If you look at our time in South Africa, we were at one of the giants of the Southern Hemisphere in Orlando Pirates. We come to North Africa, again a giant of a club, and then East Africa as well, Simba, probably the biggest club in East Africa. So looking at the 3 different clubs and the experience that we took from each club, Raja obviously gives a unique potential in that it's a North African giant that has the potential to win everything. You see the facilities that we work at in a day in, day out basis that I'm sure you will show everybody in South Africa.
14:06 Central African Time. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. Do make time to visit our incredible Channel Africa website and also download the Channel Africa app if you haven't done so on your iOS or Android to have an exciting experience on all things Channel Africa from an African perspective. Do also get in touch with us on our different social media platforms on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok and Facebook. It is at Channel Africa 1. Let's now update you on different sporting fixtures that are taking place on the African continent and globally. Starting with the SA20 League, that is the T20 format tournament in South Africa. If you missed out on action earlier this week, on Monday the 19th of Jan, match day T20 30 of 26, Joburg Super Kings took on Paarl Royals and Joburg Super Kings won by 44 runs. Then action continued on Wednesday in the playoff T20 31 of 26, Sunrisers Eastern Cape up against Pretoria Capitals, and Pretoria Capitals walked out victors with 7 wickets and 9 balls left. Then on Thursday, action continued in T20 32 of 26 between Paarl Royals and Joburg Super Kings. Paarl Royals had a good day on the battlefield, winning by 36 runs. Action that continued yesterday was between Paarl Royals and Sunrisers Eastern Cape, and Sunrisers Eastern Cape had a good day, smiling all the way with 7 wickets with 50 balls left. We expect more action tomorrow. That is the final T20 34 of 26. Pretoria Capitals are up against Sunrisers Eastern Cape, and that match is slated for 15:30 Central African Time. Let's also check the Big Bash League in Australia. That is the same format of the SA20 that is currently ongoing, and there's matches that are still upcoming, but also matches that have already taken place. On Wednesday the 21st, there was a match T20 42 of 27 between Hobart Hurricanes up against Melbourne Stars, and the Hurricanes won this one by 3 runs due to the DLS method as the match was rain interrupted. There was action again yesterday, T20 43 of 27, Sydney Sixers up against Hobart Hurricanes, and the Sixers won this one by 57 runs. We expect more action tomorrow between Perth Scorchers and Sydney Sixers, and this match is happening tomorrow. Let's also jump into the Under-19 ICC Cricket World Cup that is currently ongoing in Namibia and Zimbabwe, and we will update you on different matches that are currently ongoing there, as this tournament will be concluding on the 6th of February. Let's update you about matches that took place earlier this week, starting from Thursday, where there was a match between West Indies Under-19 and South Africa. West Indies won this one by 55 runs. Another match on Wednesday at the ongoing Under-19 Cricket World Cup was between Zimbabwe, the co-host nation, taking on Pakistan. Pakistan won by 8 wickets. Japan Under-19 took on Ireland Under-19, and that match was also on Thursday, won by Ireland with 4 wickets and 12 balls left. Yesterday there was more action of this exciting international spectacle. Sri Lanka Under-19 took on Australia Under-19, and the match won by Australia by 9 wickets. Then another match that happened yesterday was USA Under-19 taking on Bangladesh, and Bangladesh won by 7 wickets with 51 balls left. A match that is currently ongoing, there's 2 of them. It is a match ODI 24-41. Tanzania Under-19 from East Africa are up against Japan Under-19, and Tanzania posted 131 out of 38.3 overs, while Japan posted 122 out of 26.4 overs. Japan needs 10 runs in 23.2 overs to win this match, and if you ask me, it's already on the basket of the Japanese, because getting 10 runs out of 23 overs is just a walk in a park. Another match is between New Zealand Under-19 and India Under-19. India chose to bowl first. As it stands, New Zealand has posted 119 out of 33.2 overs, and India is yet to bat. More action expected tomorrow between West Indies Under-19 and Ireland Under-19 at 9:30 a.m. Central African Time. Also at the same time, it will be Australia up against South Africa, and that match is also happening tomorrow. 14:11 Central African Time. It's time for a short break.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
SABC2 is stepping into a new era, Papa, where every moment tells a story. A new era of conversations with Enklik Let's Connect at 4:30 p.m., bringing real talk and South African voices. A new era of Afrikaans news at 6:30 p.m., trusted information in the language you love. A new era of family entertainment, Omar Sari at 7 p.m., celebrating humor, tradition and togetherness. A new era of excitement in a new time slot, Deal or No Deal at 7:30 p.m., bringing primetime thrills home. A new era of drama, Pimville at 9 p.m.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:12 for Central African time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, let's continue updating you on different sporting fixtures that are taking place on the African continent and different parts of the world. Week 10 of 18 in the ongoing United Rugby Championship, shortened for URC. Edinburgh went down by 2 points against the Bulls. That match ended 17-19 and it took place yesterday. Another match that happened yesterday was Munster and Dragons, and Munster walked away victors on this one, winning by a difference of 2 points. 22-20 was the final score. Then there was Ospreys and the Lions that played to a 24-all draw. It's never a frequent moment to see a draw in rugby, and whenever I see one, it is always exciting because it says the battle went on until the final wire or the final stretch. Scarlets are taking on Ulster today at 5 p.m. Central African time, followed by two more matches. In 19:30, it will be Stormers up against the Sharks, while on the other pitch it will be Connacht taking on Leicester. Then 21:45 to wrap up the evening. There are two matches, Zebra versus Glasgow Warriors, while Cardiff Rugby will be up against Benetton, and all these matches are taking place at the same time, 21:45 Central African time. Let's now get into the world of football, where there's more matches in different leagues, starting in the Premier League in the United Kingdom. We've now reached match day 23 of 38, which means the league has now reached the second stanza, and this is where the pressure is mounting and all the teams are just desperate to make certain they collect maximum points. West Ham United, the Hammers, have a meeting with Sunderland at 14:30 Central African time in just about 17 minutes from now on. Fulham FC takes on Brighton and Hove Albion at 5 p.m. Central African time. Then Burnley FC meets Tottenham Hotspur at 5 p.m. Central African time. Manchester City, the Citizens, will be having a meeting with the bottom of the table, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it is the top versus the bottom is going to be exciting, and this is where the team on top can actually be silenced, because the one at the bottom is trying by all means to get away from the danger zone of the relegation. So AFC Bournemouth takes on Liverpool FC at 19:30 Central African time. Then tomorrow action continues. Crystal Palace takes on Chelsea the Blues at 4 p.m. Central African time. Two more matches at the same time. Newcastle United versus Aston Villa, while Brentford FC, the Bees, have a meeting with Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees, at 4 p.m. Then at 18:30, it will be a big meeting between Arsenal and Manchester United. It's going to be my big game of the weekend in the Premier League. And then action will wrap up on Monday to wrap up the weekend that was between Everton and Leeds United, and that match is happening at 10 p.m. Central African time. Let's now go to the Betway Premiership in South Africa and check the fixtures that are currently ongoing or scheduled for this weekend, as most of the leagues have now reached the second stanza, which means that everyone is fighting hard to collect maximum points. Obiti College have a meeting with Chippa United, the Chili Boys, and that meeting starts at 15:30 Central African time. Then Sekhukhune United meets Orlando Pirates at 15:30 at the new Peter Mokaba Stadium. AmaZulu FC Usutu meets TS Galaxy the Rockets tomorrow at 15:30 Central African African time. Then it's Durban City versus Polokwane City at 1800 Central African time. That match is happening in Durban at the Chatsworth Stadium. Golden Arrows Sabafana Bestende meets Stellenbosch FC Stellis, and that match has been postponed for one good reason. Stellenbosch FC, they are in continental football. They will be playing their CAF Confederation Cup match against CR Belouizdad of Algeria. I will update you on those fixtures when we get to the CAF Confederation Cup fixtures. Sekhukhune United takes on Mamelodi Sundowns, and this meeting is on Tuesday the 27th at 19:30 at the new Peter Mokaba Stadium. Let's now go to the CAF Confederation Cup fixtures that I have promised you. And remember, there's also the CAF Champions League fixtures that I will update you on. So the matches that are slated for match day 3 of 6. Today, USM Alger takes on Joliba at 2100 Central African time. Zesco United up against Kaizer Chiefs. This is the Southern African derby. That is Zambia meeting a South African team. And it's happening at 3 p.m. Central African time. And it will be broadcast live on SABC1. Then Nairobi United takes on Azam. It is the East African derby taking place tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central African time. Action continues between San Pedro and OC Safi, and that match is at 1800. Another match at the same time, Singida Black Stars takes on Otoho Di Oyo, and that match is also at 6 p.m. Then at 2100, Zamalek takes on Al Masri, while CR Belouizdad of Algeria takes on Stellenbosch FC at 2100. So Stellenbosch is playing away from home, and next weekend CR Belouizdad will travel to South Africa for the return fixture. Tomorrow, Wydad Athletic Club of Morocco meets Maniema Union at 2100 Central African time. Let's now look into the CAF Champions League matches that are also scheduled for this weekend, as there are matches that are taking place in different parts of the African continent. Let's update you about the CAF Champions League matches that are taking place today. Yesterday, matches actually kicked off in match day 3 of 6. Al Ahly beat Young Africans of Tanzania by 2-0, while Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Hilal played to a 2-2 draw. And Power Dynamos meets Rivers United. That match is at 3 p.m. Central African time. Then at 1800, JS Kabylie takes on AS FAR. And ES Tunis from Tunisia meets Simba Sports Club at 1800 Central African time. At 2100, RSB Bekane meets Pyramids FC. This is the North African derby, a side from Morocco and the Giants from Egypt. And remember, Pyramids FC are the reigning champions of the CAF Champions League. So they are doing their best to make certain that they defend their title. Tomorrow, action continues. St. Eloi Lupopo meets MC Alger of Algeria at 3 p.m. Central African time. Then at 5 p.m. it will be Stade Malien up against Petro di Luanda of Angola. And that match is also happening tomorrow. 14:19 Central African time. Let's take a short break.
Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The stories, the scores, the spirit of the game. Catch Africa at Play with Neto Chemane. Saturdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on Channel Africa.
14:20 Central African time. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli Siashaya. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We now head into our Southern African neighbors to land in Lusaka, Zambia for our correspondent Namuchana to fuel us up with the topic of the day, where we are talking about the dramatic scenes that we've witnessed at the Africa Cup of Nations final between Senegalese and the Moroccans, where Senegal walked away victors after scoring a beautiful goal from the left left foot in the extra time of that match. There was drama galore, and Namuchana will dip into the dramatic scenes we are talking about. You can drop us your thoughts as we want to find out from you what can CAF, the mother body of football in Africa, do to restore dignity and make certain that there is FIFA fair play in African football. And what does this say about African football, where the match was delayed with quite a number of remarkable minutes? The number to drop us your voice note is +27 83 288 6684. This is Channel Africa from an African perspective. You are listening to Africa at Play.
We have witnessed dramatic scenes at the final of the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations in Morocco between the Lions of Teranga and the hosts, the Atlas Lions of Morocco. Senegalese protested against the penalty awarded to Morocco after the referee viewed VAR. This happened shortly after Senegal's goal was disallowed. Yet in this scenario, the VAR team was silent, and this led to the visitors walking away from the pitch and later returned after Sadio Mane encouraged his team to honor the referee's decisions. Senegal keeper saved the penalty, and eventually the West Africans scored during extra time to be crowned champions. We are asking, what does such dramatic scenes say about African football, and what can CAF do to restore dignity and FIFA fair play on the continent? This is our topic today. I have with me Mr. Simata, former Football Association of Zambia president. Mr. Simata, we all saw what happened in the finals of the African Cup of Nations in Morocco, where ugly scenes were witnessed after Morocco were awarded a penalty deep into stoppage time, and Senegal protested by walking away. Mr. Smata, what does such dramatic scenes say about African football, and what can CAF do to restore dignity and FIFA fair play on the continent?
Well, what a climax on a sad, happy day. Sad because of what had happened after Senegal protests that goal. But before we condemn and completely take it as a negative stance, let's give credit to CAF, the Confederation leadership. The last Africa Cup, we performed so well in the referee and VAR section. In fact, even Europe became an envy of us, and all over the world. So we performed well. Maybe what you should be looking at now is what dropped it, what caused. Future lessons are learned, and we avoid the things that such a report would come out with. But also, the leadership should have begun to take note and acted quietly on the various complaints seen in the tournament. Poor refereeing was not seen in one incident, the final. In a couple of games, there were questionable decisions made, but I didn't get to hear of any action. I don't know why it was ignored. And you see, you can't even use the word incompetent to these referees that were at the Africa Cup, because they're the best at this time being, or they were chosen the best, or they were chosen despite the best. But if you get to referee a game at that level, you must be good. Good in such a way that the losers praise you, the winners praise you. It's a very sad development. It's sad also in that for a moment we almost lost sportsmanship, but I want to raise the names of those that worked very hard to try and get the players to go back and finish off. And there you are, they ended up winning, you know. So walking out of the pitch should not be a lesson to anyone. In fact, we should all avoid it on the ground that you could be walking away from your own victory. And not only the consequences of penalties that you will suffer later, but there it is. The aggrieved team went home happy with the Africa Cup.
Mr. Simata, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. That was Mr. Simata, former Football Association of Zambia president. I also have with me Wezi Mazunda. Wezi, we are looking at the ugly scenes that we witnessed in Morocco in the finals of the African Cup of Nations. When Morocco was awarded a penalty, Senegal were displeased and walked away. It took Sadio Mane to bring everybody back onto the pitch, and eventually Senegal won. Wezi, what does such dramatic scenes say about African football, and what can CAF do to restore dignity and FIFA fair play on their continent.
Sad situation, really. Sad state of affairs for Africa there. Those things should not be tolerated in African football. Professionalism was lacking. Africa, let's be professional. Africa, we want to win the World Cup. If you want to win the World Cup, you just have to be professional. And such things should be out of any area. They should be nowhere near you. Professionalism should just be key at all times. Let me take this back to the start of the competition. From group stages to the final itself, the final day, there was a perception, actually from group stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, there was a complaints coming from teams of selection of referees for certain teams, decisions in certain games that were not liked. And I gave an opinion to say, I think the best to do with this, that is the beauty of media. That is why you have media. That is why you have CAF. CAF should come out professional. And when you want to be professional, go to the media. Go and speak. Let those people understand. First, you sit with the people who are complaining. Look at their concerns. Are they genuine? Yes. Are they genuine? No. If they are genuine, yes, and genuine, no, still come to the press and sit down and say, okay, in these games, we've received a lot of concerns from our affiliates at various associations that are participating in this tournament. And they're saying they're not happy with certain decisions. Give your reasons. You, the referee professionals, they are the professionals who are in this game, because this is coming from somewhere. This is not something that has just happened. I will not blame Senegal for their behavior, because it's coming from somewhere. And I hope what suggestions people have been making, if one of the suggestions I made is one people have been making, was done. They sat, as they needed, CAF sat down with associations that were aggrieved, sat down with them and then cleared the air. You know, because we saw scenarios like, was that Cameroon versus host Morocco? It was sad. We even had people even being so emotional and everything. It's really sad. Go on social media and it's all over there. It's sad because that boils up. If you just keep quiet and overlook these things and say, okay, it's just a competition, the team has lost, this is what happens. So this is coming from somewhere. Africa, CAF, let's open our eyes. It's coming from somewhere. Let's look back and see, review the competition. Much as we are saying the competition was good, refereeing, there was a question there. There were a lot of question marks. Were they addressed to the press, to these particular nations when they came? Did they just overlook them or they addressed them to them? Because now when Senegal came, they came with that issue of, oh, okay, so if they continue not doing things that we don't like, I'm just assuming, they continue, it seems that the other team is being favored, we'll also take action. And that is what happened on the pitch. And we thank Sadio Mane for what he did. You know, a very mature player. These are great ambassadors for football. Congratulations to him. He's now a winner again. So, I mean, these are blessings. Africa is blessed to have such wise players like those, because others would have just said, no, let's leave it and everything. Painful. It's very painful. These players put in a lot. Associations put in a lot. So if you're just going to ignore the situation, this is what you're going to see and what's going to be worse. And then when you go and sit down in world bodies, in conferences, what's going to happen? They're going to say, oh my goodness, did you watch Africa? Did you watch the final? Did you see what happened? Did you see that indiscipline it was coming from somewhere? You don't just judge based on what is happening right there. No, you start from where the issue is coming from. Deal with it. Then when you reach the final, something happens. Because technically, I'll tell you something about football. I'm not an expert, but when I listen to what experts say, when you are playing football, the rhythm should not be broken. No wonder you have situations where maybe there's an injury or a player, an example of an injury, then play is stopped. You know, there's just a way football is. You've been running, you've been active, and then suddenly the play has to stop. So in this case, that game had more like ended. It was towards the end of the game. So in the mind, you're telling yourself this game has ended. Let the game continue. Let the game continue. That's what professionalism demands. But the reason why this happened, in my view, is because of issues that people have, pending issues that are not dealt with, and these are the reactions that come. Then what's the end result? It's embarrassing. The world is watching. Everybody's watching football. Young footballers are watching football. These are the future of tomorrow. Next time they're going to say, oh, okay, so if we're not happy with the decision, we'll protest on the pitch, which is not good, because this is something that you've already planned. West comes to the West, we're going to protest. So it's wrong. So what CAF should do to restore dignity, like I have said, go to the member association, sit down with them. When they have these council meetings, talk about these issues, put it on the agenda, talk about it, let people come out and say, no, we do not like this. Listen to them. If it's an issue that you feel you can change, or it's something that you can address it there and then. Let it not get trickled down back. It reaches the pitch and then the players start doing those protests. That is not nice. I think that is the most important thing. Engage the press more. If you hear people are talking, get the right information out there of what is happening. Referees, engage them, bring them, CAF, bring those people from the referees department, because that's where a lot of noise has been coming from. Let them meet the press and then give them what they really need to hear, the issues, that how the issues are handled from both sides. Let's not just leave things hanging, because this is what happens on the pitch. So there's a tournament coming immediately next year. So let's see an improvement. Let's not have people feeling certain teams have been favored, others are being overlooked. Let people feel good. Fair play should reign at all times. I mean, it's football. It's a sport that brings people together. We're not supposed to hate each other, harbor grudges. No, that's not good. Let's love one another. Be united, Africa. We have to dominate, be dominant. Teams I've seen at the Africa Cup, teams have played so well, and ready to challenge at the World Cup or having a World Cup summer this year. So I'm sure teams at the Africa, going to the Africa Cup, let Africa support them. All of us in unity, support the African teams with everything that they need. Even SCAF itself support these teams so that when they go to these competitions, they can they do the best of their ability, what they're capable to give for this continent.
As always, Wesley, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to Channel Africa.
Thank you so much.
The views of Wesley Mazunda, sports analyst, on our topic here today. We were looking at the dramatic scenes that happened in Morocco at the African Cup of Nations final between Senegal and Morocco. For Channel Africa Sports, Namchana from Zambia.
Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
Purple silhouette, so I know you can see me. How long before I'm wishing like a genie? What's the reasonable reason for your hiding? Till last night I heard you calling on your mama. I cannot even vouch for you, I cannot call on you. So if I don't love you, not taboo. If you don't love me too. So I erase my matching tattoo, cause I put it on for you. If you ever start to really win, if you ever find your queen, I hope she lets you down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down. Man, I hope she lets you down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down.
Have you never focused on another? Have you never focused, say brother? Have you ever noticed my hangover? You be driving me loco. Reason I believe in you, pronto. You are the one that was supposed to carry me go. But when I'm in the road, baby, so I cannot even vouch for you. I cannot call on you. And if I don't love you, not taboo. When you don't love me too. Now I erase my matching tattoo, cause I put it on for you. If you ever start to really win, if you ever find a game, and I hope he lets you down.
Down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down. Man, I hope she lets you down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down. Kwani, how many times am I losing the fight? I've been ready to die, falling into you. Now wengine wataki kunielimisha, wanaona fall, I was into you. So now when you're gone and you're noticing, there was a diamond you didn't see. I've been shining my way out of your darkness. That's why I cannot even vouch for you, I cannot call on you. So if I don't love you, not taboo. If you don't love me too. So I erase my matching tattoos, cause I put them on for you. If you ever start to really win, if you ever find your queen, I hope she lets you down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down. Man, I hope she lets you down, 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 down. I hope she lets you down, 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 down.
Oxygen mix.
G on the beat.
Keep Africa in your hands. Connect to our website for all your news, sports, and cultural updates. channelafrica.co.za.
I don't wanna cheat on you. Everyday temptation, baby, yo. I just wanna kiss on you. I just wanna kiss on you. I don't wanna cheat on you. Everyday temptation, baby, yo. I just wanna spend on you. Come here, make I spend on you. Oh no, don't let me cheat on my woman, no, no. I try, you know, say I try. Don't let me cheat on my woman, no, no. I try, yeah. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. It's amazing. Telling me what a man go do. Everybody want a piece of me. Telling me what a man go do. It's amazing. Telling me what a man go do. Everybody want a piece of me. Telling me what a man go do.
Say you love me, scatter. I know you see this back, and I will make you never want another woman. Cause I be crossing the border. Give you my love on a platter. What I'm in chair, mera energy. Now, pesa would come me and drive me home. Piana miss your media, kumadico. Da bena obeba, dona da bena obeba, da bena obeba, dona da bena.
Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. I can't no one in Tina, yeah, me shade me, yeah, na makademi. Oh, I can't no one in Tina, mo bana misye. I gonna me. Lord, I love my woman. I love my woman. I don't want to look another woman. Oh, I love my baby. Oh, I love my woman. I love my woman. I don't want to look another woman. Oh, I love my baby. Look at that face. Look at that bum bum. Look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my taste. What a bum bum, baby, my grace. Look at that face, look at that bum bum, look at that waist. What a bum bum, baby, my grace.
14:38 Central African Time. What would the world be without music? It is utilized in many platforms when people are having a good time, even when people are having a sad time. Music just finds a way to heal the hearts and give you hope. Let You Down by Nikita Kerim featuring Chemane is the song we played you first, and the one that just ended is Cheat on You by Kidi featuring Kiyaki. 14:39 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, we will welcome Namuchana, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia, to talk all things Zambian and African sport.
SABC2 is stepping into a new era, Papa, where every moment tells a story. A new era of conversations with Enklik Let's Connect at 4:30 p.m., bringing real talk and South African voices. A new era of Afrikaans news at 6:30 p.m., trusted information in the language you love. A new era of family entertainment, Omar Sari at 7 p.m., celebrating humor, tradition and togetherness. A new era of excitement in a new time slot, Deal or No Deal at 7:30 p.m., bringing primetime thrills home. A new era of drama, Pimville at 9 p.m., a brand new powerful telenovela from Soweto that grips the heart, and a new era of flavor with a new season of Color Your Plate with Koo, Sundays at 7 p.m. A new era begins on SABC2.
From football fields to finish lines.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:40 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play live on Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We now welcome our correspondent from Southern Africa based in Lusaka, Zambia, Namuchana. So Namuchana, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, the Velvet Voice of Africa, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Let's get on to it. Dramatic scenes in AFCON, our topic of the day, and we are asking a big question. What can the mother body of the game, CAF, do to instill dignity and ensure that there is a FIFA fair play in African football? But also, what does this say about African football? You got to speak to the pundits about this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Neto, it is extremely disappointing. And we are still all disappointed that we watched ugly scenes at the final of the African Cup of Nations that was played in Rabat, which has left a bitter taste in our heads. Otherwise, we can do more. And the issue is we should be able to interrogate, investigate deeper, to find out what has caused this acrimony, what has made other African nations to be aggrieved. Why should almost all African nations that participated at this year's AFCON in Morocco, all of them are complaining about poor officiating? This is something that should be investigated by CAF. We do not expect them to sweep everything under the carpet. This is the time for everybody to give the honest answers out there. Otherwise, the standards that we watched in Neto, in Ivory Coast, we never saw anyone complaining in Ivory Coast. And I remember a former Manchester United manager, Jose Mourinho. He even commented, he said, look, this is one of the best African Cup of Nations that I've ever watched in terms of officiating. We are the ones who introduced VAR, and now Africa is doing wonders with VAR. Look at how African referees are leading the way. It is high time the entire world learned something from the Confederation of African Football and the entire refereeing community. So for us, just 2 years down the line, to witness such ugly scenes, it is extremely unfortunate, and I only hope that CAF and FIFA will sit down to do serious introspection to find out where have we gone wrong, what is making other teams to even reach an extent or a point where they could walk out of the stadium. We have to do more, Neto. Otherwise, the scenes that we watched in Morocco, they speak a lot about how CAF now is being managed. Otherwise, we are still so disappointed, and I only hope someone somewhere will have the courage to sit down and to find out what really transpired at this year's African Cup of Nations and give the way forward. Are we going to see the repeat of what we saw in Morocco come next year at Pamoja African Cup of Nations in East Africa? We only hope that we are not going to witness such ugly scenes that will come as a result of poor officiating by African referees.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to our Southern African correspondent, Namuchana, based in Lusaka, Zambia, reflecting to our topic of the day, where we're reflecting on the dramatic scenes witnessed in Rabat, Morocco, during the final of the Africa Cup of Nations between the West African giants, the Lions of Teranga, 2021 champions, who have triumphed the Africa Cup of Nations after drama just before regulation time and in the extra time. Sadio Mane doing a wise thing to advise his fellow members of the Senegalese team to go back to the field and honor the referee's decision. And that was bravery, because if Morocco had scored that penalty, Morocco would have triumphed by 1-0. But somehow Sadio Mane felt it good to say, let's go for it. If we lose, we lose. But there's also a possibility that we might save this penalty, and who knows, we can win this final. And it worked out and unfolded exactly like that. Mr. Namuchana, we've got some voice notes on our topic of the day. Let's take one from Bongani Chuma. Please do listen in.
Good afternoon, Neto and the listeners. This is Bongani Chuma from Nazia. Neto, what we witnessed at the final, it's really uncalled for. It's bad for the image of African football. But that was a build-up to what seems to be a pattern of the organizers trying to push Morocco to win at the AFCON. Initially, it was the big guns that were pushed so that they can have an exciting tournament. So I think what we should learn out of this is that organizers should leave football be the winner on the field of play, rather than pushing certain teams to advance because they want the tournament to be vibrant and all that. So, because I don't believe that our referees were that bad. It's just that they were manipulated. Thank you, Neto.
Fire in terms of the points from Bongani Chuma, who is a football commentator doing commentary in Xitsonga, one of South Africa's official languages, from Mungana Lonene FM. Mr. Namuchana, you've heard Bongani's thoughts. How do you reflect to that one?
Bongani is 1,000% right. Whatever happened in that final between Morocco and Senegal, it was just a reflection of what was happening earlier in the tournament, because tempers were boiling. As Bongani has rightly put it there, let's leave football to win. We cannot predetermine the winner of the match in boardrooms. It can't just work like that. Let the organizers know that football is played on the pitch. And at the end of the day, you are going to have one winner and one loser. But let's have a situation whereby if a team loses, they should be able to accept it, to say, our opponents were better than us, they prepared far much better than us. I think we have lost cleanly. There is nothing to complain about here. So, but if you are going to have the other teams going back home complaining to say, this match, it is like it was predetermined in the offset, that is bad for the game. And what we witnessed in Morocco, it is really bad, and it has portrayed the African football in a bad way. And I think what Bongani is saying there is 1,000% right. We should just leave football to be played on the pitch. Much as us as human beings, we normally have our favorite. Okay, that is the nature of a human being. But do not bring it out. Do not show to people that you are siding with Team Neto at the end of the day, and you are not siding with Team Namuchana. It doesn't just work out like that. Let Team Namuchana lose just because they didn't play well, and they never prepared for the match adequately. So we only hope this is a lesson that the Confederation of African Football CAF has learned, and the remedial measures will be put in place going forward. Neto.
Namuchana is our correspondent in Southern Africa, based in the beautiful city of Lusaka in Zambia, 14:49 Central African Time. Mr. Namuchana, please do stay on board. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Zambia's finest, Namuchana.
Channel Africa is evolving, and so are you. Stay connected wherever you are with our brand new website and mobile app. Stream your favorite shows, catch up on African news, culture, and conversations, all at your fingertips.
Africa is just a tap away.
Your world, your stories, now on the go.
Stay connected wherever you are.
Visit channelafrica.co.za or download the Channel Africa app today. Channel Africa, the African perspective. From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:50 Central African Time. A warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we've got one more voice note on our topic of the day. Apiwe Ngwenya asking the big question: what can a CAF do to restore dignity and ensure there's FIFA fair play in African football? But also the dramatic scenes witnessed at the 35th edition final of the Africa Cup of Nations between Senegal and Morocco. What does this say about African football? Let's find out from Apiwe Ngwenya. We still have Namuchana on the line from Lusaka.
Hi, Africa Play. This is Apiwe Ngwenya. There has been so much going on about the refereeing and VAR at this CAF tournament. I think this AFCON really highlighted the need for referees across the continent, even in a big league in Africa as the PSL, to be formalized, to be professionals, and not just individuals that come through and be on the pitch on the day and go back to their daily jobs. And in that way, they'll have more experience with and without VAR. So now there is distrust between VAR and referees. And so sometimes even after watching VAR, they may not actually take the VAR decision, because also the VAR officials are individuals that aren't used to working with VAR in their respective leagues. So I think for CAF tournaments, next AFCONs, either the referees themselves have to be from maybe other leagues across the world that are used to VAR, that are referees every single day, as opposed to having other jobs, but also have used VAR in their leagues throughout the year.
14:53 Central African Time. That's Apiwe Ngwenya, one of the Africa at Play faithfuls, sharing her thoughts on our topic of the day. So Namuchana, Apiwe raising a profound point there to say referees must be formalized and not have a situation where Neto Chemane is a referee, but he also works at a construction site during the week. They must be professionalized and be able to focus on the duties of being a professional referee, including a comprehensive training on VAR, so that when there are big tournaments like the Africa Cup of Nations, then it is a full-on setup of professionals, and in that way perhaps there will be less moments of referees being manipulated. Please, your quick reaction on that one, so that we can also preview the Zesco and Kaizer Chiefs Southern African CAF Confederation Cup derby match.
Yeah, Apiwe, she's right there, Neto. Maybe we should just make sure that referees are appointed by the Confederation of African Football CAF on a permanent basis. And you are aware that a lot of referees that go to African Cup of Nations, Neto, I think half of them, the secondary school teachers coming from various countries. Maybe we should take that route of making sure that these are fully employed by the Confederation of African Football CAF, and they get paid. They are paid by CAF itself. Maybe we are going to see a different scenario at the end of the day. But also, I don't agree with Apiwe when she says maybe we should try to get referees from outside Africa to come and be in charge of video assistance, referee, and that kind of stuff. I feel African referees, they're capable of doing the job. And for you to be taken to VAR at a tournament like the African Cup of Nations, a CAF has so much belief in you, and they would have trained you to hand over, and they're not just picked from nowhere. These are referees that are picked by CAF well in advance, that trained on how to handle it. But why they do like this, only God knows. And we can do better. Maybe we need to retrain them over and over again so that we get the best out of them. Otherwise, Neto, the African referees are capable of doing. My only fear is that the dramatic scenes at the African Cup of Nations that we witnessed, and the biasness of African referees might affect them going to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We might end up seeing maybe in the entire Africa, no referee will be picked from here. That is my fear, Neto.
It is a fear, but let's hope that the positives of those referees that have done exceptionally well can work in favor of the African continent, building up to the FIFA World Cup 2026 edition taking place from June the 11th in Canada, Mexico, and the US. Those are the views of Namuchana. So Namuchana, let's jump into the CAF Confederation Cup. It is match day 3 this weekend. Al Masry in Group D are leading with 6 points after 2 matches, having triumphed both of them, followed by Zamalek from Egypt with 4 points, a win and a draw. These two teams have not lost a match, but the bottom two, Kaizer Chiefs, Amakosi, and Zesco United, Zega Mambo, have lost some matches. Kaizer Chiefs, they've only achieved 1 point and lost 1 match, while Zesco lost both their 2 matches in the opening 2 matches of the group. Matthews Tsebeleza Ndlovu says he's hoping that this will be a turning point for Zega Mambo against Kaizer Chiefs come tomorrow, which is Sunday at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. It is Zega Mambo versus Amakosi. Your thoughts?
A big mountain it will climb there. They have a huge mountain in front of them, and if they were to lose this one against Kaizer Chiefs, Neto, I can tell you that it is done and dusted. It is over for Zesco United Football Club. But somehow, I believe that they can pull this one. They can put this one in the bag. All they just have to do it is to believe in themselves. This is the team, Neto. You remember that Zesco is the only Zambian team ever to have qualified to the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League. So they have that experience. They have played at the highest level. And I've failed to understand why out of 2 games they have even failed to get a draw. And my prayer is that they are going to redeem themselves tomorrow as they take on Kaizer Chiefs at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. Very, very disappointing there that Zesco United, they don't seem to account for themselves properly. So we do hope that they'll come to the party, they'll compose themselves. We know Kaizer Chiefs is not a small team. This is a team that has been there on the scene for a very, very, very long time. They are one of the giants of African football. We only wait to see it. Otherwise, it is very, very disappointing for Zambian teams that are representing this country in the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup, in the sense that even Power Dynamos, the Zambian champions, they have played 2 games so far in the CAF Champions League, and they have won none, meaning that they're sitting on 0 points out of 2 games. And we only hope that they are going also to redeem themselves by beating Rivers United of George Finidi from Nigeria at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. So a very precarious situation for Power Dynamos too. They will need to come out guns blazing if they were to have realistic chances of making it out of the group.
14:59 heading to 1500 Central African time. That's Namuchana, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia, talking to us about all things Zambian and African sport. So Namuchana, please do stay on the line. We will wrap up our conversation on the other side of the second hour of Africa at Play as we say goodbye to the first hour where we got to hear from the pundits from Zambia on our topic of the day, reflecting and reacting to the dramatic scenes that we've witnessed in the final of the Africa Cup of Nations between giants Morocco and Senegal, and that match was triumphed 1-0 by Senegal eventually after Morocco. Brahim Diaz of Real Madrid missed a penalty and shocked the world, and we had a lot of people saying the ancestors of African football came through for the Senegalese.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
15:01 Central African time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. Do make time to download the Channel Africa app. If you haven't done so, do it on your iOS or Android to have an incredible experience of all things Channel Africa from an African perspective. Also engage us on our different social media platforms on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook and YouTube. It is at Channel Africa 1. My name is Neto Chemane. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African time. We still have our Southern African correspondent Namuchana on the line. So Namuchana, let's also talk about Power Dynamos coach Oswald Mourinho Mutapa, who is hoping the 3-game domestic winning streak replicates itself on the continental stage as his club hosts Rivers United of Nigeria in the CAF Champions League Group A match that's happening today.
Yeah, Neto, I think also the Mutapa has been encouraged because they have won 3 games in the league here in a row, and that should be a morale booster to them going into this match against the side of Finidi George, and this is Rivers United. It won't be an easy game because both teams, Neto, they haven't won. You are aware that Rivers United also have played the 2 games and they're sitting on 0 points, just like a powerful Power Dynamos of Zambia. So, all to play for, and I think both teams they'll go out there to prove something. But I think Power Dynamos have got everything to lose. They're playing at home. They need to impress their supporters. Their supporters are looking forward to a good game. And it would be sad if they were to fail to beat Rivers United of Nigeria at the Levi Manawasa Stadium. But it won't be an easy game. We know that Finidi George is one of the best tacticians that Africa has ever produced. So the Power Dynamos, they'll need to be at their very best if they were to get 3 points out of Rivers United at the Levi Manawasa Stadium. But of late, they have been playing good football, Power Dynamos. Even in the league, they're not scoring that much, and that is a concern of everyone here. Because even in the league, they score 2 goals, 1 goal, and just collect a maximum 3 points. So, much as they are solid in defense and the midfield looks fluid, they play good football, but their scoring power isn't there. The scoring power is not something to write home about, Neto. And my wish or my prayer is that also Mutapa has worked on his front line. Otherwise, this is the team that should have collected even 6 points by this time. They play good football, Power Dynamos. They are one of the exciting teams to watch, Neto. But for them to fail even to get 1 point out of 2 games, it is extremely disappointing. But we just wait and see, and we wish Power Dynamos all the very best as they continue to represent this country in the CAF Champions League. And for all information, Neto, this is the team that is on the summit of the Zambian League. They are sitting comfortably on top then followed by Red Arrows and the Vesco United in that order. So let them replicate their league form into Champions League.
So Namachana, as we conclude our conversation, let's wrap up with the Copa Queens coach, Nora Hoptlele, who's hoping for a semi-final spot in the upcoming Women's Africa Cup of Nations that will be happening in Morocco. Is this a diplomatic wish where you want to win the tournament, but you're just playing safe in case you are unable to do so? Then you can always say you were targeting the semis.
Yeah, she came out Neto with so much confidence, and she told reporters here in Lusaka that her target was to go all the way up to the semi-finals, because the top 4 teams, they represent Africa at the Women's World Cup. So we are here to witness what she has, but so far a lot of Zambians are not convinced that Nora, she's the coach who can bring something to the Copa Queens. Otherwise, the football that we used to watch under Bruce Mape has slowly faded, and it is no longer exciting to watch the Copa Queens. Maybe we are judging her early. We need to give her a bit of some time to settle down. Maybe after 1 year or 2 years or so, should have built something for herself. But she's not convincing. And a lot of soccer pundits, including even sports journalists, they feel she isn't the right person for the job. So we just wait to see, because the football that we are playing, it is not something to write home about. And we wait to see as they go to AFCON in Morocco in March. And one important point that she brought out is that she's very, very satisfied that Zambia has been drawn against the likes of Nigeria, Egypt, and Malawi. She says, look, you have to start with strong teams for you to progress, because it is not a good idea to meet stronger teams as the tournament progresses. So we just want to see. But if you were to ask me, Neto, personally, this is a coach that I've never believed in. I don't believe in her tactics, and from the time that she came, I think the Copa Queens have taken a wrong turn. They have gone down the drain, Neto.
15:07 Central African Time. Thank you to Mr. Namachana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia. Mr. Namachana, thank you and have a great afternoon further.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neto, and congratulations to Senegal. Like you rightly put it there, it's like other people, they wanted Senegal to fail, but their ancestors came through. You know, when you are wishing someone bad luck, their ancestors always come and fight for them. And one last thing, Neto, I met a group of soccer fans who recognized me yesterday. They said they listen to the Channel Africa, they love Africa to play, and they love you as a sports presenter.
Thank you so much, Mr. Namachana. It's good to see that people listen and people hear and appreciate. Thank you so much indeed. We continue doing our best.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
15:08 Central African Time. That brings us to the wrap-up with our Southern African update from Namachana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia. Let's update you about matches in the German Bundesliga. Match day 19 of 34. First, FC St. Pauli and Hamburger SV played to a 0-0 draw yesterday. Matches scheduled for today. Bayern München, the log leaders, faces 2024 champions FC, not 2024 champions, FC Augsburg, rather. Bayer Leverkusen are the 2024 champions, and this match is at 16:30 Central African Time. Heidenheim up against RB Leipzig at 16:30 Central African Time. Then FSV Mainz will be up against Wolfsburg at the same time. Also at the same time is Bayer Leverkusen, 2024 champions, versus Werder Bremen, and Eintracht Frankfurt takes on Hoffenheim, while FC Union Berlin have a meeting with Borussia Dortmund at 19:30 Central African Time, with action continuing tomorrow between Borussia Mönchengladbach and VfB Stuttgart, and that match is at 16:30. 2 hours later at 18:30 it will be a match between SC Freiburg and FC Köln at 18:30 Central African Time. It is now 15:10 Central African Time. Let's take a short break.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu masuala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 276055 5924 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
Where champions rise and legends are made. Join Neto Chemane on Africa at Play, only on Channel Africa.
15:11 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play if you have just joined us. Zesco United chairperson has sent out a clear warning ahead of their CAF Confederation Cup encounter against the Southern African giants from South Africa, Kaizer Chiefs, and this match is on Sunday afternoon at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. The Zambian outfit will play host to the Soweto Giants on Sunday afternoon. Zesco chairperson Patricia Musia wants the supporters to come out in their numbers and make the stadium a fortress for their arrival, or for their rivals Kaizer Chiefs. And in the key head-to-head form statistics, we've got 2019 CAF Confederation Cup. Zesco United eliminated Kaizer Chiefs, winning 5-3 on aggregate. 2026 CAF Confederation Cup, both teams are placed in Group D with upcoming matches scheduled for late Jan and early February 2026. Recent form as of late 2025, Zesco United has shown a competitive form in regional competitions, and in historical context, matches between these teams in 2019 were characterized by high-scoring competitive games. Let's now find out from a Chiefs player, Sipiti Hlendlovu, what are his thoughts ahead of this big Southern African derby.
Immediately after that, you had to switch now focus from Betway Premiership to CAF Confed Cup. How do you switch immediately focus?
I know CAF, it's a very difficult competition. You can never guarantee a win immediately, but you really need to have a fighting spirit within the team. And leading to Zambia, or going to Zambia, we're going to need that, of which we saw against Arrows. That's what we're going to need from each and every player that we have, that we need to go there, fight. We're not going there to make it easy for them. Because we know.
You left it late at Zamalek, the last game in CAF.
Yes.
Performance was the best, but you didn't get to score goals that you needed. And by look of things now, you after what it will be the third game in the group stages, you start looking at the log now.
Yeah, definitely. So with that being said, it shows how crucial the CAF is, because one chance you need to capitalize with it. It shows that you need to be focused until the last minute. And this game for us is very crucial because it will determine where we're going. We know that we've got the points that we have, and we need to top up on those so that we keep ourselves in the race.
So there is no room for dropping points in dollars, so to say. I mean, there's little room.
At this time in point,
you've got your back against the wall.
Yeah, at this time in point, you look at the one who's on top, who's got 6 points. So you definitely need to catch up with them and keep yourselves in the race. If you don't win a game on Sunday, it's another story.
It's a problem.
You get what I'm saying? So we really need to go there and fight.
share with us your African experience or CAF experience in the past, playing for other teams before playing for Chiefs. What must we look for as Kaizer Chiefs going into a game in Zambia?
I think the most important thing going to Zambia, we know that we're going to face external factors that could be a problem or that are there as obstacles actually, but we need to have stronger minds. We need to have stronger minds. We need to fight. That one, I emphasize on it because I know that if you are fighting as an individual, the rest can copy that and join. And then when you are fighting as a collective, then everything is possible.
You already have a goal under your belt for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
You've already got the man of the match under your belt for Kaizer Chiefs. You're now giving us expectations of looking for more. Should we anticipate more of Ndlovu going forward?
Most definitely, Ndlovu is always working on achieving more. What I've received, it's not the end of it, and I'm hoping and I'm being driven by certain goals that I've set for myself. So yeah, and hopefully I get more of what I've received on Wednesday night, and obviously with more good performances.
Sure. All the best going through Zambia, and we look forward to a good performance again, and you for the future going forward. We're looking for the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sharp.
15:16 Central African Time. That was Vina Maposa, the communications manager at Amakosi, talking to one of the Chiefs players, Sipesihle Ndlovu, looking forward to the CAF Confederation Cup match. It is the Southern African Derby taking place tomorrow at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Zambia against Zesco United, nicknamed Zegamambo. It is going to be a big one. It's time for sports news, starting with hockey news. Netherlands men's hockey team sealed a two-match series win over South Africa with a 4-0 victory at the Hartley Vale Stadium. South African captain Sam Mvimbi led his side on his birthday in front of a passionate Cape Town crowd. The hosts produced a superb defensive first half with goalkeeper Colin Dijaga making several key saves to keep the Dutch at bay. Miles Bakens broke the deadlock early in the second half from a penalty corner before adding a second later on. Rayanga also converted from a set piece, and captain Thierry Brinkman rounded off the scoring. Despite the defeat, South Africa and plaudits for their resilience and intensity against one of the world's top sides, with the home crowd providing tremendous support across both matches. In the world of cricket, India captain Suryakumar Yadav regained form ahead of the team's title defence at next month's World Cup as he and Ishan Kishan smashed repeat 50s to secure their 7-wicket victory over New Zealand in the second T20 International in Raipur yesterday. Suryakumar hammered an unbeaten 82 after Kishan's blistering 76 as India chased down a target of 209 with 28 balls to spare to a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series. Put into bat, New Zealand posted a commanding 208 for 6 with captain Michelle Santner top scoring for them with an unbeaten 47. India rested pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah and did not risk spin bowling all-rounder Axar Patel, who suffered a thumb injury in their first match ahead of the T20 World Cup. New Zealand began briskly against India's depleted attack before openers Devon Conway on 19 and Tim Seifert 24 fell in successive overs. Rachin Ravindra with 44 smashed 4 sixes and 2 fours in his 26-ball blitz before falling to spinner Kuldip Yadav, who also got rid of the dangerous Glenn Phillips on 19. Sadhna and Jack Fulks, who made 15 not out, took New Zealand past the 200 mark. The team now move to Guwahati for their third match on Sunday. South Africa under-19 bowler JJ Basson has urged his teammates to keep their spirits high at the ongoing ICC under-19 Men's World Cup in Zimbabwe and Namibia, despite their second defeat of the tournament against West Indies yesterday. The loss saw them finish in third position in Group D behind Afghanistan and the Windies, but came with something to celebrate as he recorded 5 for 4 with the ball. He explains how he went about business in this day with a 5 for 23 performance.
So we started off quite nicely, striking in the power play, which is a big thing for us as a team. I felt that we really kept the pressure going, and I felt that myself coming back into attack from our captain making that decision, big thing for me was to continue breaking the partnerships, and I felt that I executed quite nicely, grabbing 3 very important wickets in the middle period, and then coming back to the death was just trying to contain them and dotting up as much as possible.
The West Indies put up a 234 first innings total, while South Africa were bundled out for 179 in 38 overs, with Jason Rose top scoring for 46. Basson believes it was not an impossible score to chase, but rather they just could not click into gear with the bat.
Yeah, I think we did really well in our fielding innings to restrict them to 237. It's always a chaseable score. Unfortunately, this is cricket, and some days you're the windshield, other days you're the bug, you know. Fortunately, we weren't able to chase this, but there's a lot of positives that we can take out of today and look to improve on in the next couple of days.
Basson wants them to put the result behind them as quickly as possible and focus on the next task at the tournament. They now go into the Super Sixes, where they will face the top 2 teams from Group A, Australia and Sri Lanka, and he says that's where their focus should be.
Yeah, so I think we won't dwell too much as a team on today. It's never nice losing a match, but as you said, we still have 2 games to go, so our focus will immediately switch to the next one and make sure we prepare accordingly so that we give ourselves the best chance of winning that match.
Having also lost to the Afghans in their first match and won only against Tanzania, it's easier for heads to start dropping in camp. Basson stressed the importance of keeping a jovial mood on making sure everyone is enjoying the game.
From myself, I'll just always make sure everyone's in a good mood. No one is upset too much about today or dwells too much on today's result. As I said, we're going to have to move on and shift our focus to the next one, so maybe just crack a couple of jokes, spend time with the boys, just make sure everyone is in a good space ready to take on the last 2 matches.
On to tennis news, extreme heat forced a suspension of play on outside courts at the Australian Open on Saturday, with temperatures soaring towards 40 degrees. The heat stress scale hit its maximum level 5, halting matches and briefly delaying champion Yannick Sinner's third round clash with Elliot Spirizzi before the roof closed at the Rod Laver Arena. Earlier, defending women's champion Madison Keys thrived in the scorching conditions, beating Karolina Pliskova 6-3, 6-3 to set up a last 16 showdown with compatriot Jessica Pegula, who eased past Oksana Selekmeteva. Amanda Anisimova also advanced, defeating Peyton Stims. Later, Novak Djokovic continues his bid for a record 25th Grand Slam title against Baltic van der Salchub, while Naomi Osaka faces Australian qualifier Madison Hingis. Inga Swiatek chasing a career Grand Slam, and Lorenzo Musetti are also in action. In football news, Raja Casablanca assistant coach Darian Wilken has opened up about his decision to follow Fatu Davids back to North Africa for a second stint with the Green Eagles. The pair have worked closely together since their time at Orlando Pirates in 2019, going on to spells at Maritzburg United and Simba Sports Club in Tanzania, before returning or reuniting again in Morocco. Wilken explained what drew them back to the Patola Pro League outfit and why a return to Raja Casablanca felt inevitable.
We've been fortunate in our career decisions, the coach and I and myself. If you look at our time in South Africa, we were at one of the giants of the Southern Hemisphere in Orlando Pirates. We come to North Africa, again a giant of a club, and then East Africa as well, Simba, probably the biggest club in East Africa. So looking at the 3 different clubs and the experience that we took from each club, Raja obviously gives a unique potential in that it's a North African giant that has the potential to win everything. You see the facilities that we work at in a day in, day out basis that I'm sure you will show everybody in South Africa.
David has now been appointed as the head coach, having first been at the club as Joseph Zimbabwe's second in command, with Wilken part of the technical team. Wilken says they believe it's possible to win everything with Raja.
You see the players that we get to work with, a top standard, the recruitment possibilities that we have. So I think the platform is there for us to do our best work. The platform is there for us to enjoy ourselves on a daily basis, learn on a daily basis, improve the players on a daily basis, and really you get an opportunity to work at your highest level. So I think that was the biggest proponent for us to come back was just the environment. The biggest proponent for us to come back was just the possibility of the success that we could have if we work at our highest level, if we're able to achieve what we want to achieve. Raja gives you all possibilities for that. So that was the reason of us coming.
Following failed promises and unpaid salaries despite winning the league, David and Wilken headed for the exit, but the latter says they were lured back by change.
Of course, a lot has changed, Mazola. A lot has changed since we left with Coach Zimbabwe for the first time. There's a new president, there's a new board, there's a new partnership that the club has entered into with Masa Maroc. So the entire way that the club is run has changed. The Botola has changed, of course, with the AFCON coming in. The whole environment of the Botola has changed. So it's almost like we're coming into a new environment, but with the knowledge of having been here before. So we take our experiences from before, but without that guiding every decision, without that guiding all our decision making. We, of course, have to look at what has changed and look at the new environment and take into account a lot of new views from all the different stakeholders that we have. So it's a different environment, it's a lot of change, but we're excited for what we can accomplish here.
Wilken says the long-term plan at Raja Casablanca is clear, but insists the technical team cannot lose sight of immediate results.
Football has shown, especially now recently, that in this business you can't think too far ahead. Most important is what you are able to achieve on a daily basis. Of course, you have to put the plans in place. Of course, you have to have a vision. And of course, the coach has a large part of that, the bigger vision. But our work, especially as a technical team, is to try to implement that on a daily basis and try to make sure that our short-term goals are reached. So at Raja, the possibilities of you thinking 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, I think it's more difficult. More important is what can you achieve this week? How can we get the maximum of our players this week? And how can we, win football matches? That's the most important thing.
Partizan Belgrade staged one of the greatest comebacks in EuroLeague history, beating Hapoel Tel Aviv in overtime. Trailing by 27 points in the third quarter, Partizan rode back with Sterling Brown sparkling in the turnaround. Cam Payne led the scoring with 19 points, supported by Arjun Lakic on 15 and Bruno Fernando with 14. In another match, Barcelona kept a perfect double-round week in the EuroLeague with a 98-91 victory over LDLC Asvel in Lyon. Asvel led 42-37 at halftime, driven by Clint Watson's 17 points, but Barcelona surged back in the second half. Kevin Panta and Toko Shengela proved decisive, sparking a fourth quarter push that sealed the win. The result lifts Barcelona to 16-8 and ends a run of 3 away defeats, while Asvel slumped to a fifth straight loss, dropping 6-18. In basketball news, Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo expects to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a calf injury. The 31-year-old time MVP left late in Friday's 102-100 defeat to Denver Nuggets after scoring 22 points, 13 rebounds and 7 assists. He said an MRI will confirm the damage but anticipates returning around late February or early March. The setback comes amid a poor run for the Bucks, who have lost 5 of their last 6 games and sit 11th in the Eastern Conference. Their regular season concludes on the 12th of April. And finally, in golf news, England's Jake Bolton claimed his first professional victory at the 10th Big Easy Tour event at Ebotse Links. The 27-year-old shot a superb 5 under 67 in Thursday's final round to finish 8 under for the week and secure a 2-shot win. Bolton began the day 2 shots off the pace but set the tone with a bogey-free front of 9 of 32. He held his nerve on the back 9, adding 2 birdies and just 1 bogey to seal a career-boosting triumph. 15:30 Central African Time. We are gearing up for the conversation with the ABSU President Mahmoud Hadeja from Nigeria to reflect on the annual general meeting that took place earlier today, with hope that it has concluded. But for now, let's visit the dance floor.
Channel Africa 1060. 6 decades of stories, voices, and vision.
Follow me, go like my shadow for night. Need somebody, baby, no delay. You can call me any time of day. Oh, baby, if you ever wonder, I promise I will treat you better. Love you soft and tender. Oh, señorita, open door, baby, make I enter. Waiting, make I do to show you that I love you, my señorita.
.33 Central African Time. It is a song titled I'm Available by Johnny Drill, and I'm just wondering, going wild in my mind, how many out there are available. And of course, if you're still looking, you will find, just say it like Johnny Drill, that you are available. Let's now get into the conversation of all things the African Beach Soccer Union, titled ABSU as a short term. And this is the mother body of beach soccer on the African continent. Earlier today, they held a successful annual general meeting, AGM, that was held virtually with a number of countries on the African continent present. That is the members that forms ABSU from different zones or different regions such as Southern Africa, East Africa, North Africa, and West Africa. We now welcome to the conversation the president of ABSU, Mr. Mahmoud Hadeja, to this conversation. Mr. Hadeja, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Yeah, very good afternoon to
guys, South Africans, and also the whole of the African continent. I'm so excited to make my debut on this show.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. There's always a first time. Before on this show, we've spoken to the Deputy Secretary General of ABSU, Mr. Gordon Masondo. We've spoken to the General Secretary, Mr. Tayo Oladije. We've spoken to the gentleman from Uganda, Mr. Dio. So it is a platform of all Africans. We are here to ensure that there's African excellence in different sporting codes. Let's go on to it, Mr. President. Happy 2026. Wishing ABSU good health and good wealth. Let the sport of beach soccer make it to the highest possible level and give the rest of the world a run for their money. How did the third annual AGM go?
Well, thank you very much for giving me the platform. I think I'm so elated. Like I said, this is my debut, and I hope I do well by scoring some goals. Interestingly, the AGM, it went very, very well. And I think one of the best we've had over the years. ABSU has come of age, I think now 6 years down the line. ABSU was established, to advocate for, a stronger beach soccer culture across the African continent, while also ensuring that Africa plays a critical role, and also on the global beach soccer scene. So I think it was a coming together of the various stakeholders of beach soccer, across the African continent, from representatives, from the federations and national football federations, and also stakeholders from, the coaches, the referees, the players, the administrators, the club owners, everyone, including the women, were not left out. So I think ABSU is moving forward, and I think it was a wonderful deliberation. We had representatives from the private sector, whereby we have a continental giant called Tropical General Investments, with the headquarters in Lagos and presence across the African continent, coming forward, to support this new, project that ABSU is going into in terms of exploring club competitions, from the regional level going into the continental level. So I think it was a good one, I have to say.
Thank you so much for that feedback, Mr. President. If you have just joined us, we are talking to Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia, who is the president of African Beach Soccer Union, ABSU. And earlier today, they held a progressive annual general meeting, which was the third edition. Mr. Hadejia, let's talk about the establishment of ABSU back in 2020. It's now 6 years down the line. Are you happy with progress on the table? And talking about that progress, how many African countries are active in ABSU as the mother body of the game in Africa? How many countries are active in their respective native grounds?
Okay, fantastic. When we started ABSU in the year 2020, it has been a long deliberation, even before, we came together as a body, with all the stakeholders, to see how we can move the game forward. And when we came together, we realized from the onset, we only had few countries that were playing beach soccer in Africa. You had the likes of South Africa in the southern region. You had Madagascar. If you go to the east, the likes of Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi, also. And if you go to the west, that is where you have a lot of countries, talking about Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and the likes. And then in the northern part, you have the likes of Morocco, Egypt, Libya, and sometime also Algeria, was active. So it was only a few countries, not more than 10, 15 countries. And we said, look, we needed to come together to mobilize everyone across the continent so that we can encourage people that are passionate about this game, and also try to see how we can move forward as a continent, and we were able to reach out to the likes of Mauritania, the likes of Gambia, the likes of Burundi, and the likes, to see how we can introduce them to this game. I could remember even in the Eastern region, we had the likes of Zanzibar, and Kenya, coming on board. And right now, currently, we have over 30 countries that are actively playing beach soccer. And this is very, very commendable, because I don't think you will find any continent, across the world, that you will find 30 or 30 plus countries, being actively engaged. So this is really commendable. I have to also acknowledge the efforts of the national associations in developing this game, and also CAF, for ensuring that every 2 years we have the Beach Soccer African Nations, whereby national teams come together, to play the tournament, and also have representatives, going to represent Africa at the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup. But what has been missing over the years is the club participation at the African level. As APSU, from the beginning, we said we needed to go back and ensure that the game grows from home. So, for example, in Nigeria, we went back alongside the Nigerian Football Federation, and we said we needed to have the Nigeria Beach Soccer League running, so that we can have our clubs actively engaged and playing competitive beach soccer, which in return will help the national team. And that is what we did across the African continent. And just late last year in 2025, we concluded the 5th season of the Nigeria Beach Soccer League. And right now we're about commencing the new season. And that is going on across the African continent. And that is why at this point, we said now is the time now to go into Africa, to introduce starting with the regional competitions, so that clubs can come together and play at the regional level, before we now play the African the Champions Club Cup. So that is the next step now that we want to go into, because if you go to Europe, that is what they do every season, and that is why their teams, their clubs, their players, their national teams are really progressing. So we have this opportunity in Africa now, and I must commend the members, during this AGM. I think everyone was supportive, and now with the regional, with the zonal structures, they have been mandated to go and organize these regional competitions, in partnership with the football associations and also the CAF zonal structures that we have. So it's going to be a collaborative effort, to see how we can move this game forward.
They say teamwork makes the dream work. The words of the president are that it's going to be a collaborative effort to get different stakeholders across the African continent to make beach soccer materialize and make it to the highest possible level. That is Mr. Mahmoud Hadija, all the way from West Africa in Nigeria. Mr. President, please do stay on the line. We take a short break and we'll continue our conversation shortly.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África, com Remo Samo e João Yabalá.
A situação do ativista angolano Serrote José de Oliveira, preso desde julho, tem gerado grande preocupação internacional. Conhecido como General Nila e presidente do movimento União Nacional para a Total Revolução de Angola, Serrote iniciou uma greve de fome em protesto contra a sua prisão, que considera arbitrária. De acordo com a Amnistia Internacional, o estado de saúde do ativista está a deteriorar-se rapidamente devido à falta de acesso a cuidados médicos adequados. Para discutir o impacto deste caso e o estado da liberdade política em Angola, vamos conversar com Dito Dale, ativista e defensor dos direitos humanos.
Nós estamos diante de uma clara estratégia de aniquilar o jovem, porque quando uma pessoa está doente, deve ser assistido. Ao não proporcionar esses cuidados médicos, o que é que o regime quer? Não quer que esse jovem saia livre e com vida da prisão, quer matá-lo.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
15:44 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, as Deleli Siashaya, the conversation continues with the president of the African Beach Soccer Union, ABSU, that is Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia, all the way from West Africa in Nigeria. A journey that began in 2020, establishing the mother body of beach soccer in Africa. 6 years down the line, from just a number of few countries that you could count with your fingers, we are now talking 30 plus members, and that goes to show that ABSU is not here for playing games. They mean business, and I'm certain in the near future we will have the sport spread across the entire continent. The president also spoke about the mandate given to different associations at national level and regional level to organize themselves and have national leagues active, and also build into regional games. And out of regional games, that's when then you're going to have the likes of the ABSU Cup, which will then be played at the end of it all, to find out from the teams that have graduated from the regions who gets crowned the champions of Africa. And eventually these excelling teams will then make it to the global stage and play at the Beach Soccer World Cup. Mr. President, just thank you for staying on board. Let's also talk about development. What does development under the umbrella of ABSU entail? Because I'm thinking out of the box to say later in the future, once other countries have came on board to join ABSU, you still need to make certain that the sport does not die. When Neto Chemane, as a senior player, calls it quits, there has to be a young Neto that has been prepared from school sport point of view. Are we going to have a situation where ABSU is going to have a mandate around school sport and partner with schools so that later on in the year, those players that are playing for the school can also join the clubs, and you will have a setup where a club is not just one team, but it's got different age groups, in making certain that you never run of talent for the future?
Okay, thank you very much for that important question. Well, I will have to say, as ABSU, part of our goal from the beginning, is to engage the youth, from the secondary school level and also at the tertiary level, to have them engage and also create the awareness so that they can be able to build their skills, and interest, most importantly, in the game. And I think we've been successful in that regard, even though it's a gradual process. Beach soccer is still new to a lot of people in Africa. We clearly understand that, and we're discussing and engaging, with the associations of the schools. Here in Nigeria, for example, we just recently demonstrated beach soccer, to the National University Games, that was held just last year, and it's going to be introduced gradually, into the National University Games. And we have academies here, springing up, so that the kids, the young kids, can start exploring beach soccer. And there is a lot of, collaboration and synergy between beach soccer and the normal regular football aside game, because you will find if a football player goes onto the beach, to play beach soccer, he gets a whole lot from that in terms of, the stamina level, the fitness level that he gets, and a whole lot, because beach soccer is a small-sided game played on sand, so the ground, it's not as flat as the football pitch. So if a player, plays beach soccer, and he is able to transform those, skills he has adopted from beach soccer to the football pitch, you will find out that they end up excelling. We have seen it here in Nigeria and in a lot of players, across the world, who play beach soccer. Right now, what we're also trying to do, and just during this AGM, we unveiled a new ambassador. This guy is called Alseni Ndiaye, a very popular beach soccer player who is the captain of the Senegalese national team. He has been to the World Cup semi-finals twice, and he's a global ambassador. He has played in Germany. He has seen it all. See, these are the kind of guys, that we want to use so that they serve as role models, for these upcoming kids. So this is where we're looking at to see how we can engage the schools. And it's going to be a gradual and also a developmental process. We're not also, like I said earlier, leaving the women out. We're gradually also having exhibition games and introducing the women beach soccer because it's great, gaining a lot of traction globally. And just during the AGM, we had a representative from the global body of beach soccer called Beach Soccer Worldwide, who came to give a goodwill message. And he spoke that, look, there are plans, to have the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup in the near future, very, very soon. So we cannot be left behind in terms of the women game. And we're taking that very, very seriously, starting, at the national championships, going into the regional level and also eventually alongside the men at the continental level. So this is
We've lost the voice of the president there. That is 15:50 Central African time. We've been talking to Mahmoud Hadeja all the way from Nigeria, who is the president of the African Beach Soccer Union, ABSU, and we were wrapping up our conversation. Apologies, Mr. President. Unfortunately, we got cut off there, but nevertheless, we've reached a lot from this conversation. Let's take a short break.
180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane on Channel Africa. Madapiri Bazoshitika.
Madotolo oposa 1,500 amene amagwira ntchito yaulere mu zipatala zaboma mu dziko la Zambia azanyanyala ntchito lachisanu sabata ya mawa ndipo Daniel Shabanda kutambasula nkhani.
Madotolo oposa 1,500 amene amagwira ntchito mopanda malipiro apamwezi dziko la Zambia akuyembekezera kuyamba kunyanyala ntchito. Ichi ndi chifukwa chakuti boma lalephera kuwalemba ntchito monga mmene lidawalonjezera. Channel Africa News yalankhulana ndi mkulu wa bungwe la madotolo la Resident Doctors Association of Zambia, Dr. Paul Chiwe, akugomeza kuti madotolo ambiri amene akugwira ntchito mu zipatala zaboma akugwira ntchito yaulere ndipo ali ndi chiyembekezo chakuti tsiku lina adzalembedwa ntchito ndi boma.
Zochitika pa nthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo lolemba mpaka lachisanu ndi Madapiri.
Where champions rise and legends are made. Join Neto Chemane on Africa at Play, only on Channel Africa.
15:52 Central African time. You are still tuned in to Africa's number one, Africa at Play. We are wrapping up a conversation on all things African beach soccer with the president of ABSU, African Beach Soccer Union, Mr. Mahmoud Hadeja, based in West Africa, Nigeria. Mr. Mahmoud, thank you so much for staying on board. Apologies about that cutoff. As we wrap up this conversation, there's still a lot of people out there, when they hear the word beach soccer, they start thinking we can never play beach soccer because in our country there's no beach, and they think it's only meant for those countries that are blessed with beaches. Please do educate our listeners and potential stakeholders listening to this conversation that you do not need a beach necessarily for beach soccer to be played. All you need is sand to set up a beach soccer arena.
Okay, thank you very much once again. Whenever I have the opportunity, I try to educate our listeners that beach soccer can be played anywhere. You can play by the beach, you can play inside the city. The most important thing in beach soccer is the sand. Wherever you can find the sand, the right quality of sand, you can play beach soccer. So in a lot of places in Africa, we have landlocked countries. We have landlocked places where we go and play beach soccer. In Russia, for example, because of the weather, the cold weather in Russia, they play indoor beach soccer. So even in Brazil, where beach soccer originated from, it's no longer played all the time by the beach. So I want to educate our members, on this platform for them to know that, look, you can play beach soccer anywhere, and it's very easy and cheap to run as well. If you follow the APSU website, beachsoccer.africa, you will find a lot of information, regarding how you can start beach soccer, what you need, and it's very, very interactive. It was launched today during the AGM, and we will be having a lot of courses, if you want to learn the game, from club licensing, to how to secure sponsorship and run a proper beach soccer club. So it's very easy and it's for everyone. And I have to say, again, beach soccer is media friendly. That is why, wherever we're having the beach soccer, where we're having activities, the media is always there. So we will ensure that whenever we start these competitions, we will have them streamed live and also shown on TV, so that the whole of the African continent, will be able to follow proceedings on what we're doing. So these are some of the things that we're working on in terms of, the capacity building, and also ensuring that we have beach soccer on live stream. We have a partnership with the global body Beach Soccer Worldwide, to run these games, and they are experts, in showcasing beach soccer to the global audience.
Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia is the president of African Beach Soccer Union, APSU. Mr. President, as we say goodbye, let's also talk about how do people that are interested in the sport get to be part of APSU. I know you've spoken about the website. If you can just give those details again, so that the potential stakeholders that are listening to this conversation can be able to access that information to know how to go about the sport.
Okay, we have a lot of platforms. The website, like I said, beachsoccer.africa, and we have other social media platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on X. African Beach Soccer is the name of the platform, the channel. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can reach out to us. You can send us email at info Beach Soccer Africa. And the website is open, and like I said, it's very, very interactive, where you can find a lot of information. So beach soccer, I must say, is for everyone, for football lovers, for sports, enthusiasts, and like I said, beach soccer is for the media as well, So I think we're going to find African beach soccer going forward very, very interesting, with the programs that we're introducing now, talking about the competitions and other courses going forward. So look out for beach soccer in South Africa and across the African continent.
How's the calendar of APSU, African Beach Soccer Union, looking like in 2026?
Okay, so what we're doing, what we're going to start with now is with the national leagues about to kick off. Starting from this February, and going into the third quarter of the third and fourth quarter of the year, we are expecting, to have the regional competitions in place, and we are proposing in December this year or early January 2027, hopefully to have, the African Champions Club Cup, which our global partners prefer to call the African Winners. But the calendar will be rolled out on the website and other platforms as soon as we have the dates, because now we will allow the zonal structures that have been created, to go back and engage their stakeholders, so that they can give us the official dates. But look out for the third and the fourth quarter of the year.
Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia, the president of African Beach Soccer Union, APSU, based in West Africa, Nigeria. Mr. President, thank you so much for your passion and devotion to the sport of beach soccer, together with your entire stakeholders, those that forms part of the executive, and stakeholders in different zones or regions, as well as at national level. Have a good year of 2026.
Thank you for having me.
That's how we wrap up our conversation with the president of ABSU, Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia. They had an annual general meeting, which was the third edition that took place earlier today. That's how we say goodbye to the second hour of Africa at Play. We will meet again in the third and final hour. Stay tuned. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli siyashaya.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It is 1600 Central African time. We've officially entered into the third and final hour of Africa at Play on this Saturday afternoon. Worry not, as the show will continue again tomorrow. Same place, same time, 2 to 5 p.m. Central African time. In the second hour, we got to speak to our correspondent, Namuchana, on all things Southern African and African sport. And we also spoke to the president of ABSU, that is African Beach Soccer Union, Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia, and we are now in the third and final hour as we begin the proceedings with the dance floor. And of course, all things Africa at Play will continue shortly.
Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane.
Ondikhalisa ubusuku bonke liyozo luthando luphele nini ndizihlukumezisa ngawe indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe ndini indlela endiqithileyo ndifuna ubona ubuso bakho ndihlala ndikucinga phezolo bebendibuza ukuthi wayaphi nyanomntu utshone phindi cela uphume baby abanye bayahleka ndihlala ndithandaza ukuthi kuphele konke ubuhlungu endinabo indlela endihambileyo ndiyabona utikiwe indlela endiqithileyo
16:04 Central African Time. It is a song titled Indelendlela, which is translated to The Journey is Long. And she is talking about the journey of life. Ami Faku from South Africa. Thank you so much for choosing Africa's number one. As we now welcome to the conversation, Rafiki Limbada, who is the national coach for snooker and billiard South Africa, SABSA. National head coach for South Africa Confederation of Q Sports, SACCS. Snooker Gym and IBSF certified with level 2. Ready to level up your game and train like a champion? The South African Black Ball Federation Gauteng is teaming up with the world snooker coach to bring you an electrifying free coaching clinic, and it's exclusively for SABF registered juniors. And the date there is Sunday the 25th of January. That is tomorrow. The venue is Billiard Cafe in Rivonia from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central African Time. What to expect from this elite coaching from an internationally certified pro? Hands-on training to sharpen your skills, a chance to connect with fellow rising stars, and to have a fun, focus, and fast-track improvement. Let's now welcome our special guest, Rafiki Limbada, to this conversation. Rafiki, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you, Neto, and a very warm and hearty good afternoon to all the listeners out there.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's get on to it, talking about the sport of pool. Some refer to it as snooker. Perhaps before we get deeper into our conversation, if you can just lay it out there to educate those that loves the sport so that they never find a confusion, because there's also black ball in the mix, just for them to understand that it is one umbrella and what then becomes the difference in that umbrella.
Sure, Neto. What differentiates the different Q sport codes is the table size. So snooker, for example, which we know the most common and most famous champion being Ronnie O'Sullivan, they play on a 12-foot table. Then you had Caesar and Aiden, who play on a 7-foot table. And then you have Chinese Hayball, which is on a 9-foot table. So the sizes of the tables differentiate the codes.
Exciting explanation indeed. And Mr. Limbada, let's get on to it. How did you meet Q Sports?
I started at a very young age. My grandfather had a friend, a doctor friend, who at that time had a table. And as you know, with apartheid, we couldn't venture into the clubs. So it was a family friend who had a table at his home. He was a doctor, fortunate enough to have a snooker table. And I used to watch my grandfather and his friend play billiards. So from a very young age, I was under the wing, or you can say I was involved in billiards from a young age. Then an uncle of mine owned a snooker club. And I think that's where the skill sort of evolved. By the age of 10, 11, I'd made my first century, which is 100 points on the snooker table. And by the time I was 21, I was, proficient in pool, snooker, billiards, just a love for Q sports.
Marvelous indeed. And Coach, let's also talk about your credentials as a coach, because we've got to always educate our listeners so that they don't think that Q Sports belongs to sports bars where people go out for drinks and they end up playing a game. It's all good and well that you can access it there, but people also need to know that the sport is professional and you can always empower yourself.
That is correct, Neto. In today's day and age, Q Sports, as such, is a professional sport. You have players that travel the world. We have players in South Africa that travel the world playing professionally. Jason Theron is a perfect example. He travels to all the Chinese Hayball championships and gets paid to play. I started my career as a coach in 2008 in Western Province. My friend and I he's late now. He had a club, Narrans, and we had juniors come to Narrans, part of our social development program. And we just taught them what we knew best, how to pot a ball, the best way to pot a ball. And we finally realized that the only way we're going to get any recognition from government, from sponsors, from people who are willing to put into the game would be to professionalize ourselves. And by that I mean getting certified. So when the opportunity arose through the South African Confederation of Q Sports, Western Province nominated me to partake in a course, which I gladly did, and that's where I met my mentor and Ronnie O'Sullivan's coach, Nick Barrow. I did my licenses with Nick. At that time, he was the head coach for the International Billiards and Snooker Federation. He was the head coach for the snooker gym, and that's where I did my licenses. Up until recently, I did my World Professional Billiards Snooker Federation license. So I can go coach anywhere in the world.
When someone is passionate and devoted to sport, you can never stop them. They continue to empower themselves because their empowerment will later be spread out to others that needs to be empowered. We are talking to the head coach of snooker and billiards South Africa, Mr. Rafiki Limbada, who is the national head coach with 18 years of experience as a coach, having started back in 2008 and now 2006 marks 18 years of experience. And we are saying big ups to that devotion. Mr. Limbada, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. We'll continue with our conversation after the short break.
Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you will be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. When you're at the top, you become the conversation. Join the hot conversation with Neto and Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, on Africa at Play. Drop us a voice note on +27 63 406 9126.
16:12 for Central African Time. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We are wrapping up a conversation on all things Q Sports, talking to the highly experienced coach with 18 years experience. And of course, he played this game at a tender age. And there's always an exciting story on how someone began their journey of being an athlete or even being a mentor in different sporting codes. We're talking to Rafiki Limbada, who is the national head coach for snooker and billiards South Africa. Ready to level up your game and train like a champion? The South African Black Ball Federation Gauteng is teaming up with the World Snooker Coach to bring you an electrifying free coaching clinic where will you get it for free, and it is a comprehensive training and coaching clinic, and it's exclusively for SABF registered juniors. Mr. Limbada, talk to us about this free coaching clinic. Why free coaching clinic, and how is it going to help those that are going to benefit from it?
The South African Black Ball Federation Gauteng region approached me and asked me to hold a juniors clinic for all their registered members. I then said, sure, I'm always willing to give back to the community. So they said, when are you available? And, I'm fully booked. If you have to have a look at my schedule, I coach Sunday to Sunday. It's what I do professionally, and I enjoy it. Nick always tells me, if you love something, you never work a day in your life. And that is the motto I live by. So when they approached me, I said, sure, I'll give you from 10 p.m. till 2 p.m., bring all your registered juniors and I will coach them. And that's how this came about. And I'm looking forward to it. Giving on information, knowledge, experience to our juniors. And hopefully one day from this group of juniors, we can get a few world champions, Africa champions as well.
There you have it from a passionate coach. We are talking to Rafik Limbada, national head coach for snooker and billiards South Africa, with 18 years of coaching experience, and he will be conducting this free coaching clinic, and it is exclusive to the South African Black Federation SABF registered juniors. It's taking place on Sunday, the 25th of January 2026 at the Billiard Cafe in Rivonia, and it starts at 10 a.m. Central African time, concluding at 2 p.m. What to expect? Elite coaching from an international certified pro, hands-on training to sharpen your skills, and a chance to connect with fellow rising stars to have fun, focus, and fast-track improvement. Mr. Limbada, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Thank you for your awesome work that you do for the world of Q Sports.
Neto, it's my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
16:15 Central African time. That's how we wrap up our conversation with Mr. Rafik Limbada, who is the national head coach for snooker and billiards South Africa, SABSA, with 18 years of coaching experience. It's now time to take a flight to West Africa and land in Lagos, Nigeria, for the latest in Nigerian sport.
Former Super Eagles captain and Nigerian football legend Tom Deomide has launched a stinging critic of Nigeria's national team, following a viral video showing players celebrating a complex bronze medal finish at the just completed 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON in Morocco. Olite, a member of Nigeria's golden generation, described the scene as deeply troubling, warning that such celebrations reflect how far Nigerian football has drifted from its once uncompromising title-driven standard. Taking on the issue, Olite revealed his shock at seeing Super Eagles players openly celebrating a top-place finish, particularly given Nigeria's historic status as a continental powerhouse. He recounted how the video drew ridicule from the international media present at the tournament. I'll give you an example of what I meant. Before the final in Rabat, a video went viral of the Super Eagles celebrating winning top place against Egypt. At the media tribune where I sat, both African and European journalists mocked us that they couldn't believe it, Olite said. According to the former captain, the reaction from neutral observers highlighted how unusual and alarming such celebrations appeared for a nation with Nigerian football pedigree. Olite contrasted the correct mindset with the culture that defined the Super Eagles during his playing days, when anything short of lifting the trophy was seen as outright failure. There was a time when the Super Eagles take care after finishing second, because to us, anything but a trophy was unacceptable. The former midfielder emphasized that Nigeria's identity on a continental stage was viewed on relentless ambition, not consolation prizes. When he said one quarter, he tweeted a stark warning that Nigeria's gradual loss of dominance in African football can be traced back to a kick in expectations and standards. We must remember that the decline of our dominance started when we became content with bronze. If we want to be Africa's best again, white celebrations for anything less than good must stop immediately. Someday, Olite quick example of what I mean. Before the final in Rabat, a video went viral of the Super Eagles celebrating wildly for winning third place against Egypt. In the media tribune where I sat, I worked as African and European funded, mocked us. They couldn't believe it. There was a time when the Super Eagles kept here as second place, because anything but the 40 was a failure. Celebrating third place built a culture of mediocrity. We must remember, the decline of our dominance began exactly when we started being content with bronze. If we want to be Africa's best ahead, the right celebration for anything less than gold must stop immediately. From a play cabinet as executive members pushed for inclusion of former Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa on the final squad for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. It has been revealed it was reliable land that the Nigeria Football Federation top club argued that the leadership and the students of Ahmed Muta, who made a record 111 appearances for the Super Eagles, were needed at the AFCON in Morocco. They further said a big squad of 28 players could easily accommodate the canopy last by staff. Close watchers of the Super Eagles also say that Ahmed Musa would have dissuaded the team from embarking on any pay strike as he had severally done when he was part of the team. Ahmed Musa was named on the final squad of the Civil 2023 AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, even though he did not play a minute in the competition. However, Coach Eric Kell shut down the plot to include a student forward on his final squad. He insisted he would rather include young players on his squad than work with a player who only recently announced his retirement from international football. He therefore named the likes of Jerome Ako, Ryan Alediosu, Tochukwu Nade, Salim Kago, and Ebenezer Cristiano for the AFCON. Still on the AFCON, after we review the activities of what went down in Morocco, particularly with attention on Nigeria, what subject matter that has been at the heart of both Nigerian soccer fans is the continuity of Franco Marian Eric Tell as the captain of the Super Eagles. Tell, who was derided and ridiculed when he was employed by the Nigerian Football Federation, has turned back the hands of side. Those who criticize him most are the ones calling for the renewal of his contract. In short, he has become the stone with the bill that rejected. From current Super Eagles players to ex-internationals and administrators and journalists, the call for renewal of Tell's contract has become deafening, with the National Sports Commission Director General, Kewu Diko, reassuring Nigerians that they will hand Tell a new contract at the end of his contract, with it remaining 1 year. Kewu Diko take.
Is the commission and the NFF work together to bring Elite? We authorize it. If Elite came on board, if the commission has to pay his salary, well, of course, there will definitely anybody who knows Nigerian football, who feels that we avoid, will still be able to be out there and be able to give more time so that we can prepare more. Probably we can have another Royal Era for Nigeria Kumba. Remember, with the home, when he started, 1990 was a color, 1992 was a template. By 1994, the team had matured, and 1994 we had the Met team, and that team carried the Olympics in 1996. So I believe we should be patient with him, we should all support it, and we should be able to participate in continue on this line, and I'm sure that the glory days for Nigeria football will be back.
Alex Iwobi on his part praised the collective spirit of the squad and reserved special admiration for head coach Eric Kell, revealing that the coach became emotional while addressing the players for the final time. Although Nigeria did not leave the AFCON trophy, Iwobi believes the Super Eagles regained something equally important: the trust and affection of Nigerian fans. Iwobi said the turnaround was breathed largely by Eric Kell's leadership and belief in the group. I like what it takes that the Coca-Cola, the love of it, and the one of the ultra, the come back, go one way on up, and big shout everyone in team, big shout to the coach. That I know the coach is gonna hate you, but I'm gonna pay it, right? He done a lot for us, and the one thing the coach would demand from that is respect. Of course, you want the team to do well. You have to make a decision, and you can't always treat everyone at the players in front of them in the same hand that they walk up with them. Did well, there was no ego, everybody was working hard, everybody worked hard for the course. I call that the big thing when it's harsh, it's from the start, everyone, because of course you work hard, he worked hard as well. But when he gave his last speech, I'm not gonna hate it. I learned, and they made up on that. That music. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of praise. Keep my type of praise for me. You laugh at the team's already coded, but already put up. Ex-international gave applauded for turning the Super Eagles around despite not qualifying them for the World Cup. He said that he deserved a new contract to continue with the good job he had started. Mutiu, I beg what you think. Another former international Condemba, who accounted for Nigeria's dominance at the 2003 African Cup of Nations in South Africa, was carried away that he spoke in Nigeria's speaking English, emphasizing that NFL could be monitored to ensure that they did not demand kickback before renewing a retail contract. Come them back, and yet another international game, another declared saying that it's too early to give the full compliment of doing well with the Super Eagles when he did not meet up with the final target of his employer, the Nigeria Football Federation. Ogeni and Maze.
I always say it's not an opportunity for me to get the coach. Because for me personally, be asking, begin to give you assessment about the coach, I will tell you that for me, for now, nothing yet. That's for me. Since it is doing well, we have the best result so far, because this is what Nigeria has always looked at for. Once the team wins, everything is good. If the team lose, then they begin to find where court eat that order. So it doesn't work that way. For me, I don't think that way.
The team of Luda, another international note that it beholds on Kel to stay with the Super Eagles to prove that he's a good coach. He, however, stated that if his demands are too high, market is free as money commands variety. If he chooses this money, he can go, as variety is the price of life.
Well, he has this kind of quality of player, and he took on the pressure that comes with it. Yeah, to also do better, he should stay there with Nigeria and be able to prove that he's really a good coach and do better. Not that it can happen, and then we couldn't go to the World Cup, but now she took it down, bring a new player, work hard and work hard. They let it do to retain it, but two things demands are too high. Where the market is free, money commands variety. That comes from the point I was told him into elementary economics. So where he makes more money and he wants to go, he can go. But for us, I think that technically Olympic they try to retain him. If they don't retain it, right there. Variety is the price of life.
And legendary Kano Wanko applauded the Super Eagles for a front two in Morocco. Kano Wanko,
is that the top way? Get part of the ball. If you look at the team, you look at the way we play, because this is the wrong, the penalty from penalty. That I did, later. At the Kudala, I'm happy, it could be moving. We did, that's the most penalty. But you got to them board and then we work up.
The way command, all the activities of outcome at the concerned Nigerians. Let's tell you that because Sime has revealed he's personally trying to persuade his Super Eagles teammate Ademola Lookman and Raphael Onyedika to join him at Galatasaray. Lookman and Onyedika are widely believed to be top of the transfer agenda at Galatasaray as the Turkish giant tabled their plan to threaten their squad for the second half of the season. The Istanbul club are believed to be eager to add quality and depth as they trade domestic honors and aim to go deeper in European competition. And both Nigerian internationals have emerged as serious targets. Speaking after Galatasaray won one draw with Atletico Madrid in the Europa Champions League, Otile admitted that he has already held the command talk with both players during international duty. All three helped Nigeria win bronze at the just concluded 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. I spoke with Onyedika during the Africa Cup of Nations. I also spoke with Lookman during the matches we played for the World Cup. Osime said, I told them about the Galatasaray fans, how big a club we are, and the beauty of the country. They are adults. They will make up their decision. The former Napoli striker, who had quickly become one of Galatasaray's biggest figures, did not hide his enthusiasm about the prospect of being reunited with the international teammates in Istanbul. And before we go, let's tell you that defending champion Remo Stars have been handed a 7 million naira fine for breaching MPFA rules during match day 20 game against Ikorodu City. The champions failed to provide adequate and effective security during their home game against Ikorodu City, leading to a brawl between fans of both clubs and resulting in injuries of away fans and damaged vehicles. Remo Stars also failed to ensure proper conduct of their supporters, resulting in the harassment and intimidation of the match officials. MPFL does rules. The club is thereby fined 2 million naira for failing to provide adequate and effective security, another 1 million naira for throwing out gates towards the field of play. Remo Stars will also pay a fine of 1 million for improper conduct of their supporters, as well as another 1 million for misconduct capable of bringing the game to disrepute. A further fine of 2 million naira has been imposed on the club to serve as compensatory cost for the damages on their away team bus and supporters. Additionally, Remo Stars will play their remaining MPL 26 home matches at the Lagos Talami Stadium in Ibadan, following the incident at their Itene ground. And that's the size of sports roundup in Nigeria. For Canada Africa Scores, Kono Bane reporting from Lagos.
The voice of the continent, now online, with all your sports fixtures, lifestyle, and more.
Cause me, I need money for my rainy days. Don't 7K, you see, say nothing. I work 247, no rest day. No holiday, because me, I need money for my rainy days. Banana, water, we drilling, okay. She wants champagne in the G63. Super sandwich with your talisay. Arcadas es papá. Side on my God. Banana, water, we drilling, okay. She wants champagne in the G63. Super sandwich with your talisay. Arcadas es papá. Namela right, namela, nanga say fit, numero ya 23. Utite namagopite, Joni na spalaute. Ay ay ay, yo, say maka jaspolo, agatu magaspolo, sari waragos, kira ay ay ay, yo, say maka jaspolo, agatu magaspolo, shabane gamoto, shabane sitile gamoto, shabane gamoto. Chavane sitile gamoto, chavane gamoto. Pega money, baby na get it feeling. Este fabric, stena get paso no sam hazamis. Ete ya casa. Pega money, es como que negra tagat. Josefa kona la corre money. Roba no tosi te pete mo pigere. Pega money, baby na get it feeling. Este fabric, stena get paso no sam hazamis. Ete ya casa, pega money, es como que negra taga. Que se fa con la corre mundo. Ahora no pussy te petemo. Another turbe banana water bug drilling, okay. She wants champagne in the G63. Super sandwich with your talisay. Arcadas es papá. Side on my God. Banana water body grilling, okay. She wants champagne in the G63. Super sandwich with your quality. Arcadas es papá. Side on my God.
Java, this is feel like I'm festive. Baby girl, Tato, got a festive. Bakiaga, got a festive. Nicholas Chavo, Botogo. Better exo, got Botogo. You like a cassie, baby. Drink it like a skip, baby. Drink yaga ya costa. Better full set a la costa. BDK it like a skip. Passa tempo, got a white skater. I get to take a volleyball skater. Izuka, Baradi Potter. Baby, when I want costa. Onko Pisato, oh, David Otter. 925, I have volleyball foster. Nuela, who look it to the Botlanka, Garajet, get the Betela jeb. I wish. Big baller, oh shit. Yeah, it's up.
Exit. Pega money. Baby, na get let's feeling. Este fabric, stena get boss when no sam pasamis. Ete ya gazati. Pega money. Es como que negra tagati. Josefa kona la corre money. Roba no tosi te pete mo pilgere. Pega money. Baby, na get let's feeling. Este fabric. Stena get boss when no sam pasamis. Ete ya gazati. Pega money. Es como que negra tagati.
6 decades strong, Channel Africa continues to inspire Africa and the world, proudly sharing
the African perspective.
Osa sono sanzo, coppe betri, caguata bocoda, panfla bomancha, caguata bocoda. bocoda, pamfla pomanchan, gaton sotimu, ini mondi desu, pili plama kumon, pampia wekedaji, gaton sotimu, ini mondi desu, pili plama kumon, pampia wekedaji, onda no migo sa fingilolo. Cammo de casopla, ponda no migo sa fingilolo. Cammo de casopla, casopla, pepa hoje nada dobra. Casopla, pepa hoje nada dobra. Sono sanzo, coppe betue, caguada bocoda, ampla bomancha, caton sotimu, beni mondi desu, bili plama kumo, ampia wekedaji, onda no migo sa fingilolo, camo de casopla, casopla, e hoje nada dobro. Casopla, e hoje nada dobro. No migo sa fingilolo, camo de casopla, e hoje nada dobro. Ah, no migo tá sanfa, segura.
Even if you say you can't dance, but this beat says you can do it. Let's do this thing. It is an exciting song titled Africa. It is by African trio Bossa Sono, and before that we played you Deliver by DJ Maporisa featuring Smelly, vocalistic Chico musician and Big Baller. 16:37 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome. We will be having a conversation with our West African correspondent Tony Tonero Ubani in just a moment to wrap up Africa at Play. For now, let's update you on different matches that are currently ongoing. In the African Champions League, there is a match between Power Dynamos of Zambia, who are up against Rivers United of Nigeria, and as it stands is 0-0 after 78 minutes of football has been played. There's also a match in the German Bundesliga that is currently ongoing. Bayer Leverkusen up against Werder Bremen. It's currently 0-0 and it is 6 minutes since the match kicked off. Bayern München up against FC Augsburg, also 0-0 after 6 minutes of football has been played. Eintracht Frankfurt takes on Hoffenheim, and that match is still 0-0. The only match that has produced a goal after 6 minutes of action is a match between FSV Mainz and Wolfsburg, with Wolfsburg having found the back of the net, and other matches are still upcoming. In the Betway Premiership, Orbit College is up against Chippa United. 48 minutes of football has been played, still 0-0. Another match that's currently on 0-0 after 47 minutes of football has been played. Sikukuni United up against Orlando Pirates. In the Spanish La Liga, Rayo Vallecano up against Osasuna. It is currently 1-1 after 73 minutes of football has been played. In the Algeria League, it is Ben Anoun versus Oran, and it's currently 2-1 in favor of Ben Aknoon after 74 minutes of football has been played. Another match is Ruiset up against Sawura. Ruiset leading by a 1-0 after 72 minutes of football has been played, and other matches are still upcoming and some are still ongoing in different parts of the world. 16:39 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we take a short break. When we come back, we will connect with our West African correspondent, Tony Robani.
Téléchargez l'application Channel Africa sur votre Play Store ou Apple Store afin de pouvoir suivre toutes nos émissions en direct de là où vous vous trouvez. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa. We are broadcasting to the world about Africa.
16:40 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, they say the one who eats the last is the king. We are now welcoming to the conversation Tony Robani, West Africa's finest, who's based in Lagos. So, Bani, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, the Velvet Voice of Africa. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's get on to it from continental football in form of the Africa Cup of Nations, where we've witnessed drama in the final, where the Senegalese were finally crowned champions. Big ups to Sadio Mane for showing heroic behavior there, calling them back to the pitch so that they can finish what they've started. And sometimes you think the opponent have been given a penalty in the dying seconds, therefore you are out of the tournament. Little did they know that penalty was going to be saved and Senegal were going to walk away victors. We've now moved from the Africa Cup of Nations to continental football still in form of the CAF Confederation Cup and the CAF Champions League with Rivers United in action. You must be excited. They're up against Power Dynamos. Your thoughts on the return of CAF Confederation Cup and CAF Champions League?
Yes, Neto, after that thrilling actions in the African Cup of Nations, I think that it has signaled activities that started in continental games. And of course, we've had so much of it when we talk about the African Cup of Nations. Like you did say, I think that Sadio Mane remains the man of Africa and of course the man of Senegal. He's the face of African football as it is, because he saved the ugly situations. And of course, as ugly as it were, he has turned out to be a beautiful bride, for not only Senegal, but for Africa. But then we are back to business, and indeed, Rivers United will be hoping that they arrive smoothly when they go on against Power Dynamos. And Finidi George, who is, also a very powerful name in African football, is in charge of Rivers United. And he was talking tough, hoping that perhaps, they will get the actions steady and indeed get the 3 points. It's not really very good for Nigerian teams, in the continent. Nigeria is trying as much as possible to get its bearing on the continent. Things are just moving from bad to worse in Nigeria. Talk about the African Cup of Nations. Almost everybody hoped that perhaps the Super Eagles will turn their bad luck from not qualifying for the World Cup, to amending everything and then winning the African Cup of Nations. But as it were, it turned out they stopped at the semi-finals. And also at the continental stage, no Nigerian team has ever surpassed what Enyimba has done. Almost all the teams in continental ties, in the group phases, and of course, once they get into the knockout stages, they do not find their bearing. We are hoping, praying that things will turn out well. Nigeria has moved from being a heavyweight in African football, to now being, I do not even know what to call it again, because as it is, they are not proving their weight in the continent.
The Women's Africa Cup of Nations also coming up in Morocco, WAFCON, that will be happening in March, and the Super Falcons will be part of the proceedings. And I'm thinking that with not winning the Africa Cup of Nations from the Super Eagles' point of view, the focus will now shift and the support will go towards the Super Falcons, perhaps getting this one as a consolation prize.
Absolutely, Neto. I think, one will not be out of place, by placing bets, by saying that what the men could not do in Morocco, that the women will do it. And indeed, Morocco has become, a very fertile ground for the women football, especially Super Falcons in Africa. And of course, I must give credit, to the women footballers, because what the men also cannot do in Nigerian system, the women have proved to be the people that have conquered almost everything since women football came into play. And I must say, give kudos to the women football. During the African Cup of Nations, I saw that Ashisha Doshola and so many other players, were following the men's football games. And of course, they reached out, encouraging them, even when they lost in the semifinals, they were consoled. I think that Nigerian women team have proved, beyond reasonable doubt, that they are the best in the continent. And I think it is time, that they will turn our sorrows to joy when they converge in Morocco again. Morocco, like I said, is a fertile ground. And this time around, when the women play, I do not see so much of, chaotic scenes. I see football being, decided within regulation time. And of course, there will be no money in the women football when it comes, to women proving their worth. I think that the women football has gained ground in Africa, and African women have indeed proved themselves, to be very heavyweights once it comes to the round leader game. And that also has equally been defined, when you see the places where African women, ply their trade in terms of what they have done in the continent. They have opened their ways, for them to be employed elsewhere in the world. And of course, Nigerian women are absolutely doing well. Neto, I must, bring out my chest and then tell you that in Morocco, the Super Falcons will once again prove, that they are heavyweights, not just minnows in African football.
That's the voice of Tony Ubane, our West African correspondent based in the beautiful city of Lagos in Nigeria. So Ubane, earlier on we spoke to the ABSU president, African Beach Soccer Union head, Mr. Mahmoud Hadejia, about the annual general meeting of beach soccer that took place earlier today. And he spoke highly of the work that they do in Nigeria. And I was just thinking that the 11 versus 11 format of the game is highly saturated and congested, and it's good to see that beach soccer is growing on the African continent, because I'm looking at it as an industry that can also create employment through empowering coaches, referees, and the personnel themselves in making certain that, some talented players that have access to beach soccer, they do not necessarily have to go fight for the piece of the cake that is normal, where we are only witnessing possibly the cream that's left of the cake. Your thoughts on beach soccer as an independent industry, as an alternative of a football format that people can consider across the African continent, especially with ABSU already having 30 plus members from the possible 54?
Yes, Neto, I must say that Africa, as in beach football, has really, improved, and of course gaining so much ground, despite the fact that in so many of the countries in Africa, as the name implies, beach football, it's pretty difficult, getting places where some of these African teams play. But I must say that in Nigeria, beach football has gained a lot of ground. So many people that cannot find their way into the national teams, the national teams, have equally moved their way into beach football. Some others, also who ply their trade at the national level sometimes even move back, to beach football. But I must say that if there is anything, Neto, it's just that there are no more funds. Funds are not being channeled, into developing beach football, as it were, concentrating in Nigeria. I must say that the Nigerian Football Federation have not really be treating beach football, very well. That's why you see most of the times some players, that play beach football complain, and most of their complaints, revolve around funds. The funds are not being made available to them. African football or Nigerian Football Federation pays so much attention to the male and female teams of the nation, and that's the Super Eagles, the Super Falcons. Those are the teams that so many people pay so much attention to, and indeed that also can also be said because in Nigeria, I think football, we all know, is the king, and once it comes to male football and then the female football, and for some time, the basketball team, the Tigresses of Nigeria in the basketball section, these are the teams that have been very dominant, and of course, so many people follow them. Perhaps because of the fact that so many people love, the male and female team, and to an extent, basketball now, those other teams are being relegated. They are not being encouraged in terms of, funding and in terms of facilities, for the players. And that is exactly what is hounding beach football in Nigeria, Neto.
1650 Central African Time. That's the voice of West Africa's finest, Tony Obani, all the way from Lagos in Nigeria. Mr. Obani, please do stay on the line. We take our final break of Africa at Play, and we'll wrap up our conversation with Tony Obani shortly.
Let's just do it.
Your life just got easier. Get the Channel Africa app and take us wherever you go. Catch the latest news, enjoy your favorite shows, stream the music you love, and stay connected to the continent. All in one spot, right in your pocket. Simple, quick, and always with you. The Channel Africa app. Download it now on iOS and Android. Where champions rise and legends are made. Join Neto Chemane on Africa at Play, only on Channel Africa.
1651 Central African Time. When Africa at Play says goodbye, there's another smooth voice coming your way. That is Jolene Nsungu to tell us more about what's coming up on Mix Vibration. We still have Tony Obani on the other side, and we will wrap up that conversation shortly. But for now, let's throw forward and find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, merci bien. Effectivement, Mix Vibration commence à partir dès 17h, heure d'Afrique du Sud. Et aujourd'hui, nous aurons encore plusieurs sortes de musique que nous allons vous proposer pour célébrer la musique africaine. Et non seulement ça, nous avons un invité qui sera dans nos studios ici à Channel Africa. Et avec lui, on va discuter de son album, de son single et de tout ce qu'il va nous dire. Voilà donc, le rendez-vous est fixé. Restez connectés sur Mix Vibration.
There you have it. You can look forward to an exciting edition of Mix Vibration. This is Channel Africa, broadcasting to the world in 5 languages: English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, and Portuguese. Let's welcome back Tony Obani to this conversation. So, Obani, I've witnessed something on the ground. In 2023, the FIFA Women's World Cup was co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand. And then, as we speak, we are seeing a situation where at the ongoing ICC Men's Under-19 Cricket World Cup, co-hosted by Namibia and Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. Next year, 2027, the Pamoja Beat will host the Africa Cup of Nations, led by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And then you can take it forward to 2030 FIFA World Cup, where Morocco, an African nation, will co-host with the European nations in Spain and Portugal. Have we officially moved into a space where continental and global spectacles will now be co-hosted in trying to empower just more than one country when it comes to hosting these international spectacles, so that when there are benefits such as the legacy that a tournament will leave behind, then at least you have 2 countries or 3 benefiting versus just one? But also, will that not create a scenario where benefiting from hosting such tournaments will not be as evident as it would be when a tournament is hosted by just a single country? Your thoughts on co-hosting?
Yes, Neto, I think it's a very nice way of, helping the lesser countries, as it were. If you see, before now, I think it's South Africa that has redeemed Africa from hosting the World Cup. Nobody before now. I think that, it was only a dream, that no team or no country in Africa had what it takes to host the World Cup. But I think South Africa came out, proved the world wrong, and of course hosted a meaningful and of course a World Cup that generated funds more than before it. I think that co-hosting has come to stay. It's a way of spreading infrastructure, to some other countries, and of course maintaining the standard that both FIFA, holds supreme in co-hosting. I think, from what we have seen, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, I think that will also be a thing where they share their burdens instead of one country, shouldering almost all the responsibilities. I think that when you have 1, 2, 3, I think that it becomes rather very easy for every country to bear. And I think also it helps in terms of spreading facilities to these countries. But in Africa, I think, Neto, our problem has always been maintenance. And that, of course, I can drive home, from the Nigerian perspective, because there are so many facilities in Nigeria, but I can tell you that there is only one functional facility in Nigeria, and that one is at Akwa Ibom. Of course, South Africa has always been playing at the Akwa Ibom Stadium in Nigeria, but the others, both the National Stadium in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and the First National Stadium in Lagos, you need to see what they have turned to. They have turned to graveyards. Nobody visits them. Nobody goes there. It has become an elephant project. So sometimes when you co-host, it's not just about bringing facilities. It's about putting them into good use and, of course, maintaining them very well. For me, I thumbs up, co-hosting because it's a way, to spread things around so that everybody will become part of it, Neto.
Our correspondent based in Lagos, Nigeria, in West Africa, Tony Robani. So, Bani, thank you so much for your good knowledge on our conversations on Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, the Velvet Voice of Africa.
16:56 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up this edition of Africa at Play. We will be back again tomorrow, same place, same time, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central African Time. A big thank you to Catherine Chuchu TV Malika, our technical operator, our social media guru, Dumise Lema, as well as my producer, Andisiwe Fagimalu Zobona Mali. Not forgetting the professor who is leading us with the audiovisuals streaming proceedings. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatsha phandle konjani moyani vuguvugu dendele Africa at Play asideleli siyashaya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.